You're watching Fox Sports, home to the UEFA Champions League Final, the World Series, Super Bowl 45, the Daytona 500, and FoxSports.com.
We are Fox Sports!
Ready to race in the desert.
It's always a duel in the desert.
A very unique racetrack. We don't have any other track like this.
This may be the race where these guys say, bring it on, boys.
Can't wait to hear the boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. It's Daryl's line.
Let's go racing, boys!
We started in bright sunshine, and then boom, boom, out went the lights.
Nighttime is the right time.
We love racing under the lights.
I like this. It's like a heat race, man.
Saturday night's all right for fighting. I love it.
In the heat of the desert, NASCAR's best drivers will decide who's the best. And this is the longest and maybe the most exciting Phoenix race ever. Fox Sports presents the Subway Fresh Fit 600. After a spring break, the race for the points lead continues. Who's going to stand up and step up to Jimmie? There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. starting fifth, former champ Matt Kenseth. The points lead for Kevin Harvick has slipped away, but your points leader was the Athlete of the Year last year. He's going for his fifth straight Sprint Cup championship. We'll watch him tonight. He's dominated here. Jimmie Johnson. And we, of course, your oasis in the desert, the Hollywood Hotel here in Phoenix, Arizona. NASCAR on Fox. Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, thanks for being with us. And on the pole, A.J. Allmendinger for tonight's race for the first time in his career. Scott Speed alongside, kind of like there's two Butler University guys on the front row. But you're excited about this race after a break. There's a lot to go after, a lot of factors decided in this race.
Listen, this track is full of challenges. It's got it's slick. It's really hot and slick tonight. You got a really tough pit road here down in the turn where it's hard to get in and out. The restarts, the front straightaway is really, really narrow. It's got a wall right out there where you just any mistakes and you wreck. The spoiler, and I love a spoiler, by the way. And so there's a lot of issues tonight these guys are going to have to deal with, Jeff.
Yeah, you talk about that, Darrell. I mean, you've already touched on the fact that we got A.J. Allmendinger getting his first pole position starting up front. But how about the guys that you normally see up front, like Mark Martin, last year's winner, Jimmie Johnson, who's won 4 out of 5 races, or even Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's probably the closest of any of the Hendrick cars, and they've been dominant in the last few years here. They've got their work cut out for them. You've already talked about the hot, slick racetrack. A longer race starting a little bit earlier. A lot of challenges tonight.
Yeah, 375 laps, so about an hour of racing under the lights. Denny Hamlin would have to work his way from the back of the pack. And when we last left Denny Hamlin, he was winning the race in Martinsville and headed for knee surgery. Well, the operation went well. He did practice here in Phoenix, but just in case, Casey Mears is standing by. For Hamlin, getting his first win of the year was worth enduring the pain.
I move onward, the only direction. Can't be scared to fail, search of perfection. Hamlin's on a mission. Hamlin's on a mission.
Part of Joe Gibbs Racing and the 11 car. Denny, thanks for being with us, getting ready to hop in the car. First, the latest on the knee. I guess there was some fluid buildup in practice. You were in some pain again after the surgery. How far can you go today, and how are you feeling?
I feel better than I have at the start of any other day, but today I've been able to stay off my feet more than I have in any other day so far. So ultimately the durability is going to be a little bit longer. We're doing some things. We did drain the fluid, took some stitches out. That'll give me a little bit more range of motion. So it's just going to be all about, I'll know probably around lap 50 or so whether I'm going to have the strength to go for the full distance.
Hey, Denny, it's a DW. My heroes are guys that can play hurt. My heroes are guys that will get out there and do their job even when they're hurting and they don't feel like it. You were able to do that at Martinsville. Is this tougher than is this worse than what you were at Martinsville or better?
It's much worse. I mean, it's just, for me, I'm tough, but I'm not dumb either. It's just not, it's something, it's a balance. And, when you don't feel like you're doing your best, and every driver knows when he knows physically he's not doing his best job out there, that's when it's time to step aside and let somebody else do it. And for myself, the fatigue factor is what's the problem. Anybody can endure pain, your shoulder or arm or what have you, but this is a heavy braking racetrack, and the problem is that a lot of pressure goes into the knee itself, and it seemed like during practice after a few laps or so, that's where the fatigue factor started coming in. So I'm going to be tough, but I'm not going to be dumb either.
Well, Denny, this is Jeff. You know, Mike Ford, your crew chief, and the rest of the team, have y'all been working on getting yourself out of the car without, you know, maybe hurting you or doing more, you know, re-injuring that knee and getting Casey back down in the car? Have y'all been practicing that? I know when we were Darrell and he had his injury, we practiced that before we got him out to the racetrack.
Yeah, we have, and Casey's done a great job stepping up for us, and we appreciate him, you know, taking the car that he did have and stepping aside and just to come over here and be a backup driver and get used, or maybe not get used at all. But you know, we can't thank him enough, and you know, this is a big weekend for us at FedEx, and trying to raise awareness for March of Dimes. It's the 3rd year in a row for us, so the biggest thing for us is to try to raise awareness for them and get a good finish today.
Well, stay healthy and good luck. Congrats again, too, on the win in Martinsville. Thanks a lot, Denny.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, buddy.
And
have a good one.
15th in points, and he's starting 26th. And Darrell, that was interesting. He said about lap 50, he's going to have a gauge on whether he can go the distance.
Well, he nailed it. It's a heavy braking track. You use your left foot to brake with. That pressure on the knee, it'll start to swell. When it swells, Jeff, you know that's pain.
It is pain, and the key thing is they said 50 laps. I think they understand, like you said, where they are in the points. They're not in the chase yet. They need to get him out, get Casey in, and get as many points as they possibly can.
He went through 22 laps of practice here in Phoenix. Here's what's coming up. We're live in Phoenix. We talked about it all season. It starts next week when we are in Texas. You can fill out your brackets and pick winners already. Our guys set the field for the DirecTV head-to-head knockout. Well, he may have spun out of practice yesterday. He's still the hottest driver in the desert and everywhere else. We'll talk live with Jimmie Johnson. Plus, our guys tackle the tough questions in Gas and Go, and it could get a little hairy. We're glad you're with us. It's afternoon, evening. It's NASCAR on Fox.
Here comes the Biff.
I've been watching that car, and it's gotten better and better and better.
It's all about consistency. Are you going for the win or are you going for the points? Jimmie Johnson, he gets them both. He gets them all. He's on top. Brian Vickers has not had a top 5 finish this season. He's 12th in points. Joey Logano 13th, 6 points out of that 12th spot for the chase. 6 drivers in the top dozen missed the chase last year.
Chris, I want to tell you something. If you're going to send a message to that 48 team, you better be sending it right now. They struggled a little bit at Martinsville. Still got a top 10. Not too good today, I don't think. 16 car or any of the rest of them. If they want to put a period on this thing, get in the hunt, they better do it now while they're struggling.
Slow down the 48 team and Jimmie Johnson. Well, next Sunday in Texas, we begin the new racing contest, DirecTV head-to-head. It allows you to pick the winner in a driver-to-driver matchup, and you could possibly win $1 million. This week in Arizona, the brackets and the battling for the brackets were determined by our Blue Ribbon International Committee of Experts. At least that's what we're calling you guys.
Well, you know what? We went the other night and we picked our 4 corners, right, and we set our brackets, and now it's a chance for the fans to get involved and they can fill out the rest of the brackets. Let's take a look. The fight is on.
The gloves are off.
Nowhere to hide.
Nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Fast but dangerous.
We're going to have a dogfight.
Wild and crazy. Would y'all behave yourselves?
All right, here's what we know so far. The top 4 seeds in the 4 corners, the top 4 from last year's chase. We know the rest of the chase drivers from 2009 are automatics. So we've got 28 spots to fill in this bracket. And we kind of got them laid out here based on our discussion. Is there anybody in a 3 that maybe ought to be in a 4, or somebody in a 7 that should be a 6?
I don't know. I got a few questions, but let's look at it and then we'll
So we're basing it off performance, but we also know Talladega is going to be a lot of luck on this deal.
Yeah.
Now, all we've done is I fill out brackets and I keep moving here and moving there. You know what I finally decided? It just ain't working. The only way it's going to work is just get it up on the board.
That's what they did with the NCAA bracket.
Okay.
Here's the number 2. Should we put them up?
Let's try it. And let's see what they look like. Let's put them up and look at them. Because I think we got some. I think we're all right with this. There's number 2 is 16. Biffle. We got Kenseth.
Again, you go back to last year. There's no way Biffle and Kenseth would have been 2 seeds.
No.
You look at their performance.
Look how they're doing this year.
All right, now the way we got the number 3 group, all the Childress cars are there, which means they wouldn't face each other in the lower rounds.
I think that's a good idea. I like that.
2 guys that made the chase last year, and 2 who didn't, but won a lot of races and are Rookie of the Year. That's our number 4 group. Now.
I like that because, again, Ryan Vickers, he made it last year. He's number 12 so far this season. He's starting to make some noise. And Casey's run, since they made a manufacturer switch, they've gotten better.
I don't know, though. I almost think the 88 ought to be in that group, but let's move along and we'll see.
Well, and we know he's going to be good at Talladega, but he's got to get through Texas first on this.
He won his first race in Texas.
Right.
You know,
many years ago.
Hey, Mr. K.
Look at that.
Hey, I got a new nickname for the guy. You kept calling him Bad Brad. I'm calling him Special K.
Oh, good. Well, you don't like that a lot better than he does Bad Brad.
You're calling him going up against Denny Hamlin.
All right, we got 9 full-timers left. We got 4 slots.
This is where it gets a little bit tough.
All right, fellas, here's our bracket. Let's look for some interesting first-round matchups. There's a little bad blood there from last year left over. Hamlin and Keselowski. There's the past and present of the 6 car over on this side.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Kane and Newman too, that's an interesting matchup.
Could be a dog right there.
They've been running about the same.
A couple open wheelers.
Yeah. All right, second-round matchups. You could have the Busch brothers in the second round.
I like that.
And if Keselowski beats Hamlin in round 1 and Carl Edwards beats Menard,
going to Talladega. Again?
Oh, no. The way this thing is shaping up, Mike, there's not going to be any easy rounds. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns just besides trying to make these battles that we're putting together. It's challenging all the way through.
I think we all know we could take all these off the board, throw them in the floor, and that's about what we would come up with probably at Talladega.
I tell you something else we have to look at too. Texas, 1.5 miles. Talladega, 2.6. Go to Richmond, 3/4 mile. We got all 3 different racetracks here.
Darlington.
And then we end up in Darlington. So
what all my experts are saying is the chances of $1 million perfect bracket.
Yeah, there you go. Another one out the window.
About the chances of Butler winning the national championship, which they almost did.
Came close.
All right, there's the bracket. We happy with this?
we're happy.
All right, folks, it's up to you.
Remember, it starts next week, and you get to select who you think is going to win the matchup. Just go to foxsports.com and see the entire brackets, pick your winners, or directtv.com/NASCAR.
Yeah, and, the championships will be decided in Darlington in May, and a fan could win $1 million, Darrell, with a perfect bracket.
The other good thing is all the drivers, all 32 of them, get a $1,250 bonus to give to their favorite charity. So, folks, let's get these brackets filled out. Let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and, Kyle Busch is a 4 seed. Looks like a pretty good, talk about a value for a seeding. And we're going to talk with him later. Also, we'll talk with Jimmie Johnson. He's a #1 seed no matter what kind of a sport you're figuring on. He doesn't have the deed or hold the mortgage, but he's owned this place. We're glad you're with us live in Arizona. The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Enjoy so many $5 footlong subs all day, every day, only at Subway. By FedEx, we understand you need reliable shipping options. FedEx. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
What's happening, guys? All right.
DW, what you guys doing? All right, so I got some Subway breakfast sandwiches to celebrate the Fresh Fit 600. How did you know we were hungry, man?
Layla, oh, thanks, Carl.
Man, I like a breakfast sandwich. Look at this.
Hey, Carl, normally you got Subway on the car, but I mean, we literally got Subway on the car today.
We got Subway.
Right.
That was Jared and Grand Marshal Layla Ali with Carl Edwards. They brought Subway's brand new breakfast sandwiches for our crew and us to get fueled for the day. We thank Subway for helping NASCAR on Fox build a better breakfast.
That little sandwich I had was good, boys.
It was good. You better behave yourself. Layla Ali will knock you down.
They're open early. After a poor performance at Daytona, Jimmie Johnson, 35th in the standings. 5 races later, Jimmie, the 48 team, they're back on top where they've spent the past 4 seasons on the top of the mountain. Johnson has won 4 of the last 5 races here in the desert.
Come on.
No driver has been hotter in Phoenix than Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson wins it.
Did you say 48? Oh, yeah.
Every trip to Phoenix, Jimmie Johnson just continues to impress. Back at Martinsville, Chad Knaus said it was more of a test in tune for the fall chase race. Same game plan here, or are you going more with last fall's winning setup?
Well, we're always trying to bring new things to the table. Yesterday was pretty exciting for us. Had a spin off at 2 and pretty loose car in qualifying. So we're definitely trying things, but we kind of have migrated back towards our fall setup. The track has been really different for the Cup cars. I'm not sure about the Nationwide guys, but much looser and different. The car's been out of the track. So I'm hopeful that with the Nationwide race last night, the track will come back into its own and what we're used to. And the fall setup we've had that's worked so well, we'll show it and work for us again.
This has been Jimmie Johnson's best racetrack of any track that he competes on throughout the season. The dominator in the nationwide race last night, though, he's standing by with Dick Bergeron.
It was a wild night last night. Kyle Busch won the race, but not without some difficulty. He jumped the restart, according to NASCAR. They put him back in the field, deep in the field, but he went on and passed absolutely everybody. So how about tonight? Are you feeling racy, ready to go get him again for 2 in a row?
I certainly hope so. You know, the Combos Camry was decent last night and really good, and we're hoping with the same thing out of the M&M's Camry tonight. So we've got a lot in store. We're looking forward to it. It'll be challenging, but we got some good guys to follow here. We got Jimmy right in front of us, so maybe we can pick our way through there. But go to MMS.com and vote for your favorite character, and we'll see exactly who wins on that one.
Kyle Busch, always fun to watch on the racetrack. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks, Kyle. Well, how about Kyle Busch? You know, I know he missed the chase last year, but still people thought he might have a win by now, or at least be a threat for the championship. 16th in points currently.
Well, his car last night was awesome. He won the race. But he and Dave Rogers, I don't know. I just can't seem to get my arms around what's going on there. Car just hadn't been as fast. You got to have a fast car to win races. Hadn't had the speed in it that it's accustomed to having.
All right, and Jimmie Johnson didn't lead a lap the last race. That's good news for the rest of NASCAR.
Yeah, and I think right now one of the things that maybe they're struggling with, and it's kind of like an unknown, is the rear spoiler. He made a comment earlier this week. He wasn't too sure that this package was going to be really good. The faster these cars went, they feel like the rear spoiler's putting more front downforce, making the car a little imbalanced. Maybe they're still chasing it over there between he and Chad Knaus. Be interested to see how they dial it in tonight.
One other thing, Chris, real quickly. Last night I looked at the race. The track looked like it was glowing. It was so slick. It was like ice almost.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Could be a problem.
1 mile flat track. All right, time for our Fox NASCAR News Watch. April's been named the National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, so please pay attention behind the wheel. And the White House is eager to get aboard with its anti-texting campaign. On April 22nd, the 40th anniversary of Earth Day, and Office Depot and Tony Stewart are going green. They're working on a new paint scheme for the 14 car. And Sprint has announced the top vote getters for the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Fan Vote, and among the names, Carl Edwards and Jeff Burton. All right, time now for Gas and Go. We have questions. They have answers. They have not seen these. These have been
gives me such a headache.
These have been locked away at Jeff Hammond's double wide at the base of the Grand Canyon. Okay, you're on the clock. I don't know why that's funny to me. He doesn't like it. All right, Daryl, for you, what do you think of Scott Speed? 3 weeks ago, he had kind of a different hairdo. Then he shaved the hair, and then he was hanging out at a Tucson toga party last night and had a good time.
This is your question.
He's starting up near the front today.
So what do you want to know? I mean, this is not the kind of guy that I'm used to racing with. I can tell you that. I mean, that's a little different outfit.
What kind of driver is he?
He's great.
Okay.
He's on the front row. He's got a chance to win his first race. Great driver, but I'm not sure about his outfit.
It could be a career-defining night, but that wouldn't be in Tucson. That was not his pit crew, by the way.
Him in a toga?
In the toga outfit. All right, Jeff, for you, tonight's top 4 qualifiers have never won a race.
Right.
Talk about Allmendinger being on the pole and Speed's up there. Who has the best chance to win?
I really believe it'd be Marcus Ambrose. I think he's been in a position several times to win a Sprint Cup race, and tonight could be his night.
A.J. Allmendinger.
Sam Hornish Jr. is in the mix.
No patience.
All right, Daryl, for you, do you think there's going to be a continuation of the Jeff Gordon-Matt Kenseth feud? Remember the little hangover there left over from Martinsville?
Yeah, there is. And you know why? Because Matt Kenseth doesn't think he's even. He's come out on the losing end of that battle every time. I think Matt, given the opportunity, would probably pay back Jeff Gordon if it comes up.
Chris, do you remember this part one time? Wham! He knocked him back.
I remember, and Jeff Gordon said, if I'm not going to win, he's not going to win. All right, Jeff, for you, Casey Kane's birthday, happy birthday. What are the chances this could be the 4th time that a driver wins a Sprint Cup race on his birthday? The others to do it, Cale Yarborough, Kyle Busch did it.
Well, I think he's got a good chance, not an excellent chance. I think he's been running well, but he's going to have to get up on the wheel tonight, and they'll have to make the right decisions. I'm talking about Kenny Francis on pit road to get the car hooked up on this slick racetrack.
All right, so happy birthday, Casey. Daryl, for you, is there any way Juan Pablo Montoya can make the chase? Mark Martin was 27th and made it last season. No other driver, though, came from 25th or worse to get in.
Here's the problem. He's got to calm down. As a driver in the car, he's got to calm down. He just gets a little carried away. Somebody bumps him a little bit, and he wants to pay him back. He's got to get some good finishes He's got to finish in the top 10 in the rest of the races.
All right.
What happened to yes and no?
90 degrees.
No answer
it's
like
90
that.
degrees outside right now, Jeff. Will we see a significant drop in temperature during the race, probably about an hour under the lights, and how does that affect things?
Oh, it's going to make a lot more grip for these guys as the temperature goes down. Ambient temperature will drop, but more importantly, the temperature of the track itself will drop, and they'll get a lot more grip as we go later in the evening.
All right. Last question for
What
both.
happened to yes and no?
All right. Well, it's not that
Was it
easy.
a yes or no answer?
Here's a tough one for both of you. What do you think of Donovan McNabb being traded from the Eagles to the Redskins? All right. Well, you know what? Let's ask somebody who
Are you
really.
serious?
I want to ask somebody who really knows the answer.
Chris, you mean you're going to ask DW and Jeff a football question? I can tell you what I remember about McNabb. Him scrambling around. You can't get the guy down. He scrambles out of the pocket. A couple of guys bounce off of him, and all of a sudden he looks downfield, and it's the bomb. That's a bad memory. Those are my memories.
There's a guy who's won Super Bowls, Sprint Cup championships. Don't forget the NFL on Fox after MLB on Fox after NASCAR on Fox. You got to go up to the booth. Get ready to call the race tonight.
Yes, I do. It's a little bit exciting race.
It's a little bit longer. You gonna be able to handle it? The endurance? Are you
It's
ready
only 63 laps. Hammond will lie to me and tell me we're almost over.
Just keep digging, baby. Just keep digging.
Who do you like tonight? You got a pick?
Yeah, I do. I really feel good about Dale Jr.
Okay.
I really do. Tonight's the night.
All right. How about you?
I'm going to go with Carl Edwards. I think he's got something to prove. I think tonight's the night. Subway going to go to the victory lane.
All right, the Subway Fresh Fit 600. He's fit. He's ready to go. Jamie McMurray, the Daytona 500 winner. Kurt Busch has had a terrific year so far. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. We're live from the Arizona desert, and we'll have the start of the race for you in just a moment.
My God, I'm going to hit you.
Welcome back, NASCAR on Fox. 3 years ago, Jeff Gordon with his wife Ella, pregnant, later to give birth to their daughter Ella, and they have a son on the way, and there she is, almost all grown up, and their son due in July. They already know they have a boy on the way. Of course, Jeff, it took him 17 tries before he finally won here at Phoenix, a tough 1 mile track, along with Jeff Hammond. Chris Myers getting ready for the Subway Fresh Fit 600 here. And, you know, 3 of the first 6 races this year have gone to overtime. The green-white checker, right. And with double file restarts, we've had a lot of action.
They really have, Chris, and I think tonight's not going to be any different. Normally, we don't have an opportunity to sit here and kind of predict what's going to happen, but Saturday night racing has always been exciting. Multiple green-white checkers. I think you can expect we're going to use a lot of them up by the end of this race.
And some of the stars coming from the back of the pack, or they'll need to get toward the front. And when the sun sets, will the stars come out? We'll find out. Right now it's bright and sunny here in Arizona. Let's head trackside for opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we observe a moment of silence for the surviving families, friends, and co-workers of the West Virginia coal miners lost this week. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as Luke Air Force Base Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers offers today's invocation.
Heavenly Father, we know for a fact that freedom is never free. And we're so thankful for those who have lived and have given to keep us free. We also know that forgiveness is always given. And as many people have forgiven us, may we be so forgiving to them. Father, our petition today is for a safe race. May we have a very wonderful time and enjoy the competition here at Phoenix International Raceway. These things we all pray, and we pray them in your name. And everyone said, Amen.
Please welcome Emmy Award-winning recording artist and author Dr. Jesse McGuire as he performs our national anthem.
Getting ready for the start of the race just outside Phoenix, Arizona. Good crowd on hand, and wanted to clarify there is wife Ingrid with daughter Ella. The 2014 one big happy family, unless Matt Kenseth is in the way. And we'll continue in just a moment. The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Subway now has breakfast. Build your better breakfast only at Subway. The Subway Fresh Fit 600, it's NASCAR on Fox, and glad you're along with us. Getting ready to begin this, the 7th race of the season. The last 13 races have been won by just 4 drivers. Jimmie Johnson, 6 of those, Denny Hamlin, 3, and 2 each for Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray. As you see, the hot temperatures and things will cool off when the sun sets.
And that track temperature is a number you need to be looking at. It's 90 degrees ambient, but 115-degree track temperature. All the crew chiefs, tire specialists, they'll be watching that number to drop.
Still be something like 75 degrees by the time the sun goes down, even when it's nighttime here in the Arizona desert. Jeff, let's check on your Verizon checklist.
Well, we talked about it a minute ago. The racetrack itself, you got to be aware of this racetrack. It's so slick right now. Your car can get out away from you. It's going to be changing. You got to be on top of the adjustments. The other thing, Darrell even mentioned this, beware of pit roads. You can get crashed getting on and off pit road so easily. Tight pit boxes, the way the pit road is shaped, very, very dangerous. Beware of restarts. And in recent weeks, we've seen restarts really affect the outcome of a race. So you've got to be up on your toes and be ready for somebody that maybe kind of like pull a fast one on you, especially guys leading the race.
And second race with the spoiler, the return to that. I know Clint Boyer said he thinks Texas it'll be more of a factor, but Darrell thinks here we may see some of that.
You're definitely going to see it. We're running faster here than we were at Martinsville. Anytime you pick up speed over 100 miles an hour, you're going to see aerodynamics come into play. Tonight, you will see that rear spoiler have an effect.
All right, Denny Hamlin in our pre-race show earlier telling us that at 50 laps, coming off of that knee surgery Wednesday, moments ago, he was getting in the car. You see
Watch
the pain
he's having to help himself get down in that car, and he's got to be very careful. I've had a left knee injury before. I know what he's going through. Getting him in and out is not going to be any easy task if he decides to get out.
So at 50 laps, they'll make the decision. Casey Mears is standing by to step in for the winner of the race in Martinsville. We're getting ready to go here. Those famous words we always like to hear at the track.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome undefeated professional boxer, entertainer, and Subway spokesperson Layla Ali as she delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
All right, gentlemen, start your
You know, if Denny Hamlin can't finish, we'll put Layla Ali in the car.
How'd you like that right there, gentlemen? Start your engine. I coached her on that right there.
Oh, you
Chris.
did? That's a good thing, Jeff.
It was.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. And I'm Jared Fogle. We'd like to welcome you to tonight's Subway Fresh Fit 600.
And spread the word that Subway now has breakfast. So come on in and build your better breakfast, only at Subway.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy Sprint Cup racing live on Fox.
It is a beautiful sun-kissed day for a duel in the desert. Phoenix, Arizona, where NASCAR's best are about to square off for not 500 as in the past, but 600 kilometers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds. This race will end about the same time as it did last year. But, Darrell, it starts 100 kilometers sooner, and you've been saying that we should expect the unexpected tonight.
Well, the first 4 guys, Mike, if you look at our pole setter, Allmendinger, Speed, you got Sam Hornish, and you got Marcos Ambrose. This could be a career night for those guys. They've already started the weekend off right. They're starting in the front of this field on this hot, slick racetrack, hard to pass on. Look for one of those guys to end up in victory circle.
All right. Larry, the extra 100 kilometers is at the start of this race. More daytime racing, more slip sliding around. What's that do for your strategy?
Well, Mike, it's 63 laps. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but trust me, it's going to add 1 or 2 pit stops. When you look at most of our races in 2010, we've been getting that late race caution, and I promise you, we'll probably have one of those tonight. And just think about it. Decisions made on pit road has determined the outcome of almost all of our races this year. It determined who won the Nationwide Series race last night. I bet you it'll come into play tonight.
But you know what we say in Phoenix, the nighttime is the right time to have that car right to go to victory lane. Let's have a look at the Subway starting grid for tonight's race. As the field is on the pace laps, you saw that Scott Riggs has replaced Casey Mears in the number 90. That's because Mears will stand by for Denny Hamlin in case Hamlin needs relief tonight from knee surgery about a week and a half ago. Darrell, how about a word with our pole sitter?
Let's see if we can get him here. A.J. Allmendinger, DW in the Fox Sports booth. Buddy, got a copy?
I got you, DW.
Hey, buddy, that car has not been on the pole since 1999. You're starting in that number 1 spot tonight. What's it feel like, man?
Man, it's pretty cool to get Valvoline and Ford up on the front here, starting from the pole. Everybody on the Richard Petty Motorsports team, and especially my 43 guys, to come out here and work so hard and give me the opportunity to do this, and say hi to the king and just thank him and everybody that's given me this opportunity. It's pretty awesome. I'm ready to go.
Have you got a good car for when the sun goes down?
I think so, but we're gonna have to wait and see. We just gotta pace ourselves. It's a long race. We need a solid finish. This team deserves to be better than 26 in the points, and we're gonna go out there and just kind of have a solid race. And if we got a chance to win it, we'll go try to win it. If not, just try to get a top 10.
All right, good man. You got the best view in the house. Stay up there.
Thank you, man. We're at 47 minutes.
This race is brought to you by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do.
Now here is our FedEx understanding the race. The trends are the patterns that we've looked at the last 5 NASCAR on Fox races in the spring. I'm just like the other 43 crew chiefs down there. I have no trends or patterns because of the longer race. We'll have to wait till next year before we have a trend or a pattern for a 375 lap race.
63 extra laps so that this race will end in the nighttime about the same time as last year. So we'll go not 5 but 600 kilometers. Pit road speed 45 miles an hour, and you'll be in the pits every 70 to 80 laps.
Pit window for Sunoco race fuel about 70 to 80.
I don't think we'll see any brake problems tonight, but those extra miles might make a difference.
We start in bright sunlight, race through dusk and on into the nighttime. And have we told you about the Nats? We'll do that later because we're getting ready to go racing in Phoenix.
DW, it's one of our last trips in 2010 out toward the West Coast. First Saturday night race. Best advice I can give you, buddy, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Thank you very much, Mr. McReynolds. Coming to the green, getting ready, getting ready.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Nice clean start. Great start for Allmendinger. And Sam Hornish drops right in line with him. AJ will lead the first lap at Phoenix.
And Mike, the first lap is just like going to the first hole in the Masters and getting a birdie. It gives you a lot of confidence going into the rest of the round.
Joey Logano was hung on the outside through most of the first lap. He's dropped in 4th behind Scott Speed. Dale Jr. in 5th. Montoya side by side for 6th place. And now he wins that battle. Jeff Gordon moves up on the inside.
Yeah, we've been watching Marcos Ambrose in that 47 car. Started 4th. He got hung on the outside, and they've just been freight training him on the inside.
I think the thing we need to keep an eye on really close, Larry and Mike, is these guys that qualified poorly, are they going to be able to march their way to the front like a Jimmie Johnson?
Yeah, for our top 12 in points, we had 6 of those guys that qualified outside the top 20.
Johnson started 16th. He's up to 12th as Jeff Gordon battles Ambrose for 7th place.
Some of those poor qualifying runs by our points leaders are because they went out early in qualifying and the track was really hot and slick and they couldn't put down a good lap. I think we're going to see that their car's going to be pretty darn good tonight.
Martin Truex, you see right there in the 56, hung to the outside. Jimmie Johnson just got past him underneath. That moves Johnson quickly into the top 10.
He's been picking up about 1 or 2 cars a lap. I know Darrell mentioned it in the pre-race. We saw it yesterday. They didn't look that good, but something tells me they're going to be there by the end of the night.
Something tells me that they're already looking pretty darn good. We'll see how it continues on here, but that car looks mighty fast.
Kyle Busch battling his brother Kurt further back in the field. That's back about 16th position. Jeff Burton right in the midst of the Busch brothers. Here's Dick Berggren.
All of the drivers have systems which blow fresh air into their helmets. That helps them keep cool on a night like this. Kyle Busch's air conditioning system isn't working. It's going to be a long, hot night for the driver of the 18.
Well, he had a long, hot night last night. He got hot-headed, he got up on the wheel, and he ended it in victory lane.
He lost his temper, but NASCAR helped him find it.
Well, two things I talked about, a late race caution and a call by his crew chief to go with 4 tires. That's what won him that race last night.
Denny Hamlin right off knee surgery, 21st. Casey Mears standing by. Hamlin said about 50 to 75 miles into this race, he'll know if he'll be good to go the distance.
And in our pre-race interview there, he didn't look very confident, Mike. He had a lot of doubt in his face.
Side by side with a 5 of Mark Martin, last year's pole sitter and race winner here. Little wiggle from Hamlin. Martin squeezes up alongside. Hamlin says never mind.
Yeah, Martin had to get out of the throttle right there because he was pinched down so low you could see his car not wanting to turn.
At 83 is Brian Vickers taking advantage on the outside, then Kenseth in the 17, and then Clint Boyer's 33.
I think we'll see a lot of that 17 car tonight. He was awfully good yesterday. A little bit of a strange format here. 2 practice sessions, then they qualified. The cars were not impounded, but there was no more track time after qualifying.
Third place, here comes Logano. Coming off that second place finish at Martinsville 2 weeks ago in our last Sprint Cup race. And up against Scott Speed, the outside pole sitter, and toga partier last night.
Well, that was a weird outfit he had on earlier today. Sort of took me by surprise.
So you
when
never
I saw
raced
that.
against anyone who wore anything like that?
Not quite. I don't think he would have made it driving for Junior Johnson, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm sure he's seen Animal House too.
Listen, I'm watching these two boys right here. Let's be real here a minute. The 43 car sets on the pole. That's no fluke. No. He's put a gap on everybody except Sam Hornish, and Sam Hornish is hanging right here, and they've gapped everybody else.
This is one of Hornish's favorite Sprint Cup tracks. He's had success here in IndyCar.
I just really firmly believe, like we said in the opening, that somebody of that first 5 or 6 guys that haven't won races, I got a great shot tonight.
You know, Sam Hornish made his very first career start here back in the fall of 2007. He also got his first career top 10 finish here a year ago.
And I'm watching those cars, Larry, both of them, the 43 and the 77, and they are hooked up, and their lap times are just a skosh better than everybody else's.
Steve Burns.
And Mike, early in, Sam Hornish says his car is just a little bit free. The crew encouraging him, saying just keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
I think that's perfect. A little bit free right now is really going to pay off as the evening comes on.
Because this racetrack is going to gain grip as it cools down.
2 laps ago, Jeff Gordon went past his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. repassed him half a lap ago, and Gordon again forges ahead. That's for 6th place. 3 of the 4 Hendrick cars right in a row.
And that 48 car, Jimmie Johnson, remember, started back in the 16th position. Here he's battling Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 for 7th already, and we're just 12 laps into this race. It's no longer even a battle.
Juan Pablo Montoya, the 42, now up against Scott Speed. This is for 4th.
2 Formula One drivers, former Formula One drivers, going at each other hot and heavy here in the Valley of the Sun.
You know, Darrell, you pointed this out yesterday after qualifying. Other than Joey Logano, our top 6 right now, all of them are successful road racers.
They are, and I think this track has a little bit of that tendency, Larry. It's an odd shape. It's got that dog leg in the back. It's even having a little elevation change. A little uphill out of 2, a little downhill into 3. Kind of like humped up in the middle like a cat.
16th place battle. Kyle Busch just ahead of the 9 of Casey Kane. Happy birthday, Casey. Then Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick. Whoa, that was a crash right there in turn 2.
Boy, Denny Hamlin in that 11. I don't know if the 2 car got into the side of him or not when he came down off the banking. It was close.
Don't think that, did the 2 hit anything? it looks like the car might be pretty clean.
You can feel the contact from the onboard shot.
The 9 is certainly damaged. I'm not sure about the 2 yet.
He's got at least a big tire rub, Darrell, as he pulls away. Let's see. Kurt dives to the inside.
Oh, he just gets a little loose, chases the car up the hill. I don't believe the 2 hit anything, but the 9, she's killed.
Watch Harvick and Keselowski.
See, the 2's already stepping out, Mike, right there.
Yes.
And he just got to have room to go up the hill, and the 9 happens to be there.
Yeah, the 2 was almost like in a 4-wheel slide.
He's lucky he didn't. Oh,
he did get the 11.
He did make a little contact.
Yeah. Just in the right door.
Kurt Busch is on pit road as here's another look at it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage, Mike. The 2's got quite a bit of right front damage.
And look at Keselowski thread the needle in the 12. He gets away without damage. So does Vickers and Mark Martin. Now Casey Kane comes to pit road. No birthday gift here.
I think we just had a huge mistake by Martin Truex Jr. in that 56 car. He came to pit road. Pit road is still closed. Kevin Harvick in the 29 almost made the same mistake.
Look at the back end. Boy, Casey's Ford looks like it's been recycled. Let's watch from Denny Hamlin.
See, the 2 just gets a little loose getting in.
Stay low, stay low.
Right here. Yo.
Hey, go on the grass. Okay, we're okay. Got it in the door. We're okay.
That's not much of an impact, but when you got a hurt leg, you felt that more than normal.
This is Casey Kane's view.
Ow. I hate that sound.
So did our camera.
I think he may have gotten lucky, though. Looks like that damage is behind the right front tire.
It doesn't even look like it's even going to have any tire rub.
All right, the pits are open, and the word is that Denny Hamlin will stay in the car, not make any decision on whether he'll run the whole race for about another 60 to 70 laps. So here they come. Krista.
Joey Logano says his car is just a little bit loose in, but he doesn't want to do too much to it because he doesn't want to hurt the center. They're going to take some air out of the right rear. Joey also very cognizant of those tear-offs. He doesn't want to use them all up. Matt.
Right before that caution, Jeff Gordon said the car went to the free side. They're going to make a slight wedge adjustment. Letard warned him, be careful on pit road. Going to see a lot of different scenarios. Steve?
Matt track bar adjustment for Sam Hornish. He says he needs help getting into the corner. Also, 4 tires. Dick?
A.J. Allmendinger having a great night tonight, had led every lap until that caution flag. He has got a free out, no one in front of him. This is a terrific pit stall, and he is going to leave the pits in 3rd position.
Thanks, Dick. Casey Kane took the Budweiser Ford straight to the garage. He did not come to pit road.
I think a lot of our guys up near the front, like Matt Kenseth in that 17 car, 2 right side tires only, get that track position.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Subway now has breakfast. Build your better breakfast only at Subway. By Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And by Toyota.
19 laps complete. First caution of the day for Kurt Busch and Casey Kane in turns 1 and 2. There's Carl Edwards, who shares sponsorship with the race title today. Carl's favorite Subway sandwich is the sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
That's a nice sandwich. Listen, we got to keep an eye on these restarts now, because one of the problems with this racetrack, and particularly when you got people on different strategies, no tires, 2 tires, whatever, you're going to get difference of taking off speed here, start getting back up to speed. We have a lot of wrecks on the front straightaway right here.
Terry Cook is running second to Ryan Newman, the rookie who came out of the Craftsman Truck Series carrying autism awareness.
Yeah, he's actually the leader. He's the only car that did not pit that time. And Ryan Newman in the 39, we're quite sure, as well as Matt Kenseth in the 17, 2 right side tires only.
And that causes a lot of bottlenecks and a lot of problems.
Of course, it's now the Camping World Truck Series, but when he started racing in it,
yeah,
it was otherwise. Yeah,
we're with you.
We're going to stay under yellow for 1 lap. Right sides for Ryan Newman. And Kevin Harvick had to make an extra stop because his scoring transponder was not transmitting. NASCAR made that a stop by dictate of the officials, so Harvick gets his position back.
Something I haven't seen in ages. When the 46 car Cook pitted, he was the leader. Now the cars have to change lanes. they couldn't just, on the restart, they wouldn't allow them just to move up. You've got to take the first guy, the second guy, put him first, third, second, blah, 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 all the way back. I just noticed them making that transition as we get ready to come to green.
Because of the double file restart.
Because of the double file restart.
And because the leader gets the choice of which lane to restart in. So it will be Ryan Newman with his teammate at Stewart-Haas Racing, Tony Stewart. That'll be the front row. Then the drivers who've dominated so far, Allmendinger and Hornish. This will be our first double file restart of the day. Casey Kane's car in the garage. Everyone else on track and ready to restart.
I think that was a good time to maybe try just 2 right side tires. We only had 12 laps on our tires. Maybe a good time to test the waters.
Green flag.
Larry, I don't mind trying anything when I got time to overcome it. If it doesn't work.
Yeah. Boy, Stewart in that 14 got a great run on the high side through 1 and 2. I know in the Nationwide Series race last night, the outside line seemed to be the place to be on a restart.
Watch that 77 car, though. Man, he came off at 2. Up the back, that car is hooked up.
Newman holds second.
Yeah, we got
Hornish
Jamie
third,
McMurray.
and it's McMurray in the wall, turn 4. Caution waves.
Back her up and go. 33, turn us around, guys.
Doesn't look like he hit anything, though, guys. I don't see any damage yet. I think McMurray in the 1 is okay.
You heard the spotter call in to the crew chief that racing for about 16th place. Let's see what happened between Clint Boyer's 33 and the number 1. This is Mark Martin's view. Well, there was contact. Let's see if Boyer gives McMurray the boot right there.
Yeah, what happened is the 33 Boyer just bumped the back of the 1 car. McMurray, man, Kevin Harvick in the 29 sure was a lucky guy.
Here's a better look.
Yeah,
there's
there you
contact.
go. It was slight.
Yeah.
Just enough. Right there in that point in the corner, if you touched it with your finger, you'd spin it out.
Boy, Denny Hamlin, the one fella here driving her in the early going, he has been right on top of every incident.
That's the way it always goes that way.
Second caution of the day in Phoenix. .349 laps to go. Denny Hamlin reports that the engine's getting a little warm, carrying special paint scheme for the March of Dimes and the annual March for Babies walks. Additionally, Denny's helmet is a special design by triplets Morgan, Preston, and Chase Copeland, active 4-year-olds that were born prematurely and benefited from March of Dimes funded treatment and medical care that they received. Go to marchforbabies.org for more information. Casey Mears standing by in Hamlin's pit if relief is needed, also carrying the March of Dimes colors today.
You know, you have mixed emotions when you're sitting there like that, Mike. You want to get in the car, but you really don't want to get in the car because you want the driver that's supposed to drive it be able to stay in there.
A little bit of shade from the seats and suites in turns 1 and 2 at the west end of the Speedway complex.
You know, Mike, you mentioned the 11 cars reporting running a little bit warm. We also were hearing that the Hendrick cars were complaining, and Darrell and I were talking during the break. You know, they run as much tape on the nose of these cars as they can to help the cars turn. And what they're banking on is that as the ambient temperature cools down, they won't have to fight that quite as much. It's mainly under cautions where they're running warm because you're not getting as much airflow through there.
Phoenix has been a good track for the Fords. Here's today's Built Ford Tough Track Facts. Today is the 28th Cup race and the 6th Spring Night race in Phoenix. Beginning with Alan Kulwicki's breakout win. Ford won 12 of the first 18 races here. And A.J. Allmendinger, driving a Ford for Richard Petty Motorsports, won his first career pole here yesterday. All built Ford Tough. Before we go back to green, Steve Burns caught up with Casey Kane in the garage.
Well, Casey Kane, a lot of damage to your race car. You guys going to be able to get back in the race?
I think so. It looks like
our trunk's gone, kind of crushed the back of the car. So we're going to lose a lot of that. They'll probably have to weld a new one on or something. And there's probably a few cars we can pass, but going out this early, it's like it's a short race. But I think Kurt must have just got loose. I didn't see it, but I thought I gave him lots of room. So I think he probably got loose and just got into me. It was part of him trying to save it.
Thanks, Casey.
All right.
Casey Kane awaiting repair as Tony Stewart elects the outside lane for the restart against his teammate Brian Newman, with Hornish third, Montoya fourth, and Kurt Busch to the tail end of the line for pitting too soon. He was already there.
Yeah, they're having to make a lot of repairs. All of his front splitter braces have been broken, and the splitter was bottoming out on the racetrack.
Green flag for the third time today. And Stewart leads the charge into turn one. Oh, Newman didn't get through 1 and 2 well. Here comes Hornish to his inside.
There is no question on a restart right now, the outside is the place to be.
Really is. I mean, big advantage. Just bottles around the bottom. Everybody has to slow down to get to the bottom. These are top wide open.
So the outside lane was Stewart, Montoya, Logano, and they now run 1, 2, 3. Here comes Hornish for fourth. Boy, it's a log jam back about 7th place from Dale Jr. on back.
Hornish in the 77, Newman in the 39 made contact off of 2 over there.
Allmendinger fighting to the inside on Newman, trying to get back up into the top 5. He started on pole. He runs in 6th.
Hey, he did something a lot of other guys don't get to do always, and that's past the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Nice move.
Behind Allmendinger, Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's Matt.
Two-time winner here at Phoenix is Dale Earnhardt Jr. now on that first run before the stop. His car loose on entry and even looser on exit. They made a significant track bar and air pressure change to try to tighten that race car up. And he's having a solid run, battling his teammate right now, the 48 of Johnson.
Kyle Busch has gotten against someone. There is a left front tire rub reported on his number 18.
You can see it right there. You can see that little haze of smoke when he's down in the corner. Right now he's running back in the 12th position.
Kyle started 17th. Looks like they're going to ride that out a while.
See Matt Kenseth in that 17 car right there. That's one of the few cars that took 2 right sides only. Now we know the guy leading the race right now, Tony Stewart, in the 14 took 2, but Kenseth is definitely going backwards.
Larry, we look at Montoya there running second right behind Stewart. If Montoya is going to make the chase, he better make a statement tonight.
Yeah, he's about used all his free passes up, but he is all over the back of that 14 car right now. And you remember those guys have a little history, I think, if you go back to Homestead, the last race of last year.
Right behind them in third place, Joey Logano just continues to impress. Krista?
Absolutely, Mike, especially considering he doesn't have that much experience here. Finished 21st in both races last year. He was loose in practice. They have the handling where they want it right now. Joey trying to do something he's never done here before. That's lead allowed.
Well, we almost had a new leader down in turn 1 as Montoya stuffed it in there on the inside, but Stewart emerged off turn 2 to retain the lead.
There's 2 drivers that have similar personalities. They're running first and second right now.
Tell you, I've been watching this battle right here. Oh, A.J. Allmendinger, our pro sitter in that 43 car, he drove to the inside of that 39 car, getting down into 3 and 4.
Lead change. Oh, Montoya had it for about half a second, and that was all.
Half a lead change.
You run out of racetrack over there coming off turn 2.
We're in really good shape. I know. You're all good.
And how about this from 5th on back? Newman, Allmendinger, Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson.
Mike, that 43 car could win this race tonight if Allmendinger can put a whole race together, start to finish.
Newman couldn't prevail on the outside, but up front, it is Montoya to the lead.
You were not going to win that battle getting into turn 3. I knew he was going to pack it down in there.
What is the old saying? 8 tires are better than 4.
And if Stewart wanted to stay there, he'd use all 8.
Yes, sir. I got you where I want you, brother.
Juan Pablo Montoya has won one road course race in NASCAR Sprint Cup, but he's won the Grand Prix of Monaco, the Indy 500. And it's just a matter of time before he wins on a NASCAR oval. Could this be the day?
You know, Darrell, you mentioned about him making the chase. I know we've got about 20 races to go, but he comes in here 25th in the points. The only race they really sealed the deal by a good finish was Atlanta.
But look at Mark Martin last year. Came in here, what, 27? Won the pole, won the race, boom. Second in the chase, and almost became Sprint Cup champion.
So it can be done.
It can be done. Logano for second. He's to the inside of Tony Stewart. Takes it.
Now this may be where Stewart may be paying the price for just those 2 right side tires on that last caution.
I believe, Larry, this track right now, this year, it's a 4-tire track. I think anytime you can put 4 on, you better get them. I watched the race last night, and when the sun goes down, you'll see it and the lights come up. This thing glistens. It's got such a film on it. It just looks like almost like an ice rink.
Now Kyle Busch had a left front tire rub. Apparently that's resolved itself as he battles Jeff Burton. That's for 10th place. Burton, who was probably the strongest car at Martinsville for most of the day, and then got in trouble right toward the end. David Rudiman's our biggest mover from 39th to 16th.
But I think that supports what we felt this race was going to be like. I think we have such a different track right now than we had qualifying. David Rudiman, he had to be wore out last night from fighting that race car yesterday, qualified way back, and now he's about to crack the top 15.
With the condensed 2-day schedule at Phoenix for 2 different series, I have a concern about the 13 drivers doing double duty, because yesterday they started practice at 8 in the morning and they raced long into the evening. That's a lot of seat time in one day.
And it's hot. It's been very hot. It's one of the hottest races we've had all year. When you sweat a lot, that heat is what causes fatigue. I'm not going to say anybody's going to fall out of the seat tonight, but they're going to pay the price.
Let's check in with the Toga party, our outside pole sitter, Scott Speed. Steve, he started second and has fallen to 18th. What's up?
Yeah, he also shaved his hair to change his luck after the last 2 races, Mike, but he said that his brakes are gone and it's just lap 43.
And Mike, kind of funny, he shaved his hair. He shaved his hair all off, kind of bald-headed looking, as we saw in the pre-race show. He also named his car, which I thought was pretty cool. That's old Rattlesnake he's driving tonight.
Okay.
In honor of Rattlesnake Hill, but I think that the old Rattlesnake might be biting him right now.
And if you've got brake issues on lap 44, 375, it's going to be a long night. But you know, Darrell talked a little bit about it earlier in the race. You use so much brake getting in this corner, and you don't have a real low gear to slow you down when you roll out of the throttle, so you use a lot of brake here.
Juan Montoya is pulling away. He's opened up 1.1 seconds on Joey Logano. This is the 7th race of the season. It's the 5th race that Montoya has led this year.
He's fast every week. He qualifies good. He races fast. He turns fast laps. Just tough time closing the deal.
Kind of a surprise. He's only had 1 top 10 finish here in Phoenix, and that happened here last November. He finished 8th.
I think that if there's a wrap on Mon, I love the guy. He's a great driver. We know that. But he needs to be patient. He tries to take all the time. You got to give a little bit, and that taking all the time will get you in trouble.
Watch this brake right here getting off into turn 3. Look how long you're on the brake, and then you feather off of it. And you're doing that at both ends of the racetrack, entering that corner at a very high rate of speed.
And you notice the glare, Larry, of the track. You can see it kind of glistening, but also that sun is going to be a factor here in a little bit, shining in the driver's eyes. It's a little blind spot. Doesn't last long, but it will affect you.
Joey Logano second, Tony Stewart, Sam Hornish, A.J. Allmendinger. They're all chasing the Colombian, Juan Pablo Montoya.
The gloves are off. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do.
Logging laps in the desert, 54 of them complete, no change in the top 15 as Montoya's lead has grown now to 1.6 seconds over Joey Logano, with Tony Stewart, Sam Hornish, and A.J. Allmendinger the top 5. Next week begins our DirecTV head-to-head shootout, and you folks can play to win a Ford Mustang or maybe even $1 million. To preview some of those trouble turn 3 car in the wall.
Brian Vickers in that 83 car.
That car just snapped around, Larry. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened, but it just snapped on him.
I believe I heard him say he lost a rear tire.
Well, it must be a left rear. He thinks he thought it was a right rear, but you can see it's up. But I think when he turns the car around the way it's set, and I believe it was the left rear that let go. Something let go. It just snapped.
Third caution of the day, and the second in turn 3. Let's have a look at it in progress.
It's coming down into turn 3. Here he comes right here.
You're right. I mean, it just turned around. I mean, fast.
You can see the left rear. There's the tire, and it's off the left rear. Larry, they run this air pressure in these tires, left side tires, somewhere around 10 pounds.
10 to 12 psi.
It's not a lot of air in those tires.
That tire was off the rim before he hit the safer barrier.
Exactly, which makes me wonder if he didn't cut the tire, maybe made contact with someone and cut that tire before it came off.
Vickers has failed to finish 2 of the last 3 Phoenix races.
You know, Darryl, you mentioned that air pressure deal. Of course, it would have a lot more air pressure in it now, but if indeed low air pressure did that, it hurts it early in the run, and it doesn't show up till late in the run.
Larry, we're only 56 laps in. Are we going to see more of these 2-tire stops?
I don't think so. Not on this caution, Krista. They're coming your way.
That's right. Joey Logano currently running second. His car was loose on the first stop. Now it has started to tighten up. He said he's just a little bit tight, especially under throttle. They're going to take air out of the front tires. Matt?
And Jeff Gordon says it just feels like the fronts are wearing out, not turning at all. They're going to make another change on this. He says also we might want to look at getting a tear off. He ran through a swarm of bugs. We'll talk about that later, Steve.
Matt, a tear off also for Juan Pablo Montoya. Other than that, the only changes, 4 tires. He's just a little tight, but doesn't want to mess with the car, Dick.
A.J. Allmendinger pits out of the 5th position. The biggest problem he's having with his car is under braking. The front tires are chattering. They're trying to blow brake dust out on this pit stop. A 4-tire change, and a lot of people beat him out.
Thanks, Dick. Dave Blaney has taken his unsponsored number 55 to the garage. Short day for him. As for Joe Nemechek, same situation. Casey Kane's car still in there under repair.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Napa. Napa Know-How. By Warner Brothers Pictures The Losers in theaters everywhere, April 23rd. By new Pennzoil Ultra with hyper-cleansing technology. And by AT&T, a better 3G experience.
60 laps complete in Phoenix. They're just finishing cleanup up in turn number 4. Terry Cook got the free pass on that one. As we get set to go back to green, let's start with Krista for our DirecTV head-to-head pit whip.
Yeah, Mike, pre-race, Joey Logano and Jamie McMurray were talking to each other, giving each other advice. Don't they know they are up against each other head-to-head next week at Texas? So who do you pick, the 4 seed of Joey Logano or the 5 of McMurray? Well, if you go with momentum, it's got to be all Logano. He's currently running second, coming off a second-place finish at Martinsville. Right now, McMurray has the toe knocked out in his car. He is struggling. But remember, McMurray's a 5 seed. Butler was a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, so anything can happen. Matt?
A tough 4th and 5th seed matchup between Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. We documented earlier Kyle Busch's issues with his air conditioning unit. The car on the free side, but especially good down in 3 and 4 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got a number of issues. He's got a splitter brace broken, but his bigger issue is a vibration he picked up on the last run. They looked for a loose wheel. It wasn't loose. He says when he hits the brakes, the vibration makes the car go into a severe tight condition. They're still trying to chase and diagnose that problem, Steve.
Well, Matt, a head-to-head matchup between Clint Boyer in the 33 and David Rudiman in the 00. Rudiman's made a lot of progress here tonight. You see Clint Boyer in the 33. His race car is on the loose side. They've made several chassis adjustments, including wedge and track bar. Meanwhile, David Rudiman has the opposite problem of Clint Boyer. His car, he says, is good, but it's just still a little tight in the center. They've made adjustments with air pressure on that 00 of David Rudiman. Dick?
Carl Edwards drives car number 99. He is matched up with Paul Menard driving car number 98 tonight. Edwards started in the 9th position, has had a tough start to the year. So far, no wins from a driver that fans expect a lot of wins from. Indeed, Edwards has not yet led a lap. He is currently riding in the 15th position and is telling the crew that the car is beginning to get free. Paul Menard, on the other hand, has had a great start to his season. Came into this event 11th in driver points. Last year, he came into Phoenix 32nd in driver points, but he had to make an unscheduled pit stop, a longer pit stop than he had wanted, because the grill filled up with grass, and so they had to clean it all out, and that put him back where he needed to be as far as water temperature is concerned. He's running 31st.
Now, DirecTV head-to-head knockout starts next week at Texas. To learn more, go to directv.com/NASCAR. Now, I was mistaken on Joe Nemechek. He does have a sponsor this week. PetSmart is on the number 87. He was in the garage, but he has come back out on track and lost 7 laps.
And one thing real quickly, I think on Dale Jr., if those splitter braces or 1 or 2 of them are broken up there, that splitter will vibrate. And it could be a really deceiving that you think you got a wheel loose, and it could just be that splitter flopping up and down.
Daryl, I want you to take a look. You talked about a while ago this race starting in the sunlight and going in the night. Look at Carl Edwards right there. Sunglasses and a clear shield. That means when it gets dark, he can pull the sunglasses off.
Looks like Spider-Man.
Looks like a restart coming. Here we go. Montoya leading from Logano, Stewart, Allmendinger, and Jimmie Johnson.
Night was just driving away from the field. He got that late race caution and got beat there at the end. Ended up finishing 10th after actually getting hit on pit road by his teammate Kyle Busch. Now he wants his lead from the 42 car of Montoya.
Montoya pushed off too just a little bit, and then here come Logano to the inside. Once you get that line there, once they get going, that works out pretty well. Off turn 4 here. Should be able to make the pass.
Well, the outside has been the acceleration lane. Whoops. And here comes Montoya back to the lead, but he's got to leave the door open for Logano inside. Great battle for the lead. 65 laps into this race.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if you want to get the lead, you're going to have to wrestle it away from that 42 car, because he's not going to just give it to you. And it's not Logano's style, Larry, Mike, to really be aggressive at this point. More like last night. He kind of laid around, laid back, and at the end he was there. That's the kind of driver he is.
Check with Dick Berggren.
Well, Denny Hamlin is having electrical problems in his car, Mike. The crew has just brought a spare battery and a charger to the pit as well. If they are going to have to change the battery, that certainly would be the time as well to change the driver. Meanwhile, spotter Curtis Markham is watching Hamlin to make sure that his laps are consistent. The decision of whether he is going to stay in or come out will be determined partly by the driver and partly by the consistency with which he is able to drive the race car.
You know, Mike, a good point. We had some radio traffic from Denny Hamlin and team.
Depends on how you're feeling. The time we'll have the most time is if we do swap out, but just waiting to hear from you. Don't ask me.
That doesn't sound very encouraging.
But you know what, Mike? And we talked about this in the pre-race. If you're going to get out, you need to do it early. Because I'm going to tell you what, even though we didn't have the FedEx understanding the race trends or patterns because of the longer race, I look back last year in the last half of the race, we had a 130-lap green flag run. This race will find a place where it has some long green runs.
But you know what else, Larry? I think as the temperatures cool down, ambient temperature, outside air cools down, he's going to get the feeling a little bit better. I think if he gets into a rhythm and he can hold his on, that may make a a difference of how long he stays in that car.
Hamlin right now not a factor, 17th place. Montoya leads from Logano, and he stepped it out to 0.7 of a second. Stewart has a mirror full of Jimmie Johnson. Then Allmendinger, Hornish, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer, and Jeff Burton as we crank it up for you. .72 laps complete as Hornish goes after Allmendinger for 5th place.
I love this. I'm just so happy for those two guys, for Sam and for AJ, to be able to run up there in the front the way they are tonight. That's a big accomplishment for those teams.
And Darrell, what you were talking about this racetrack from the low angle shot there, we saw how it just gleams in the sun. And boy, it looks just slicker than you name it.
Well, the drivers have all said, Mike, that they've never seen the track quite like this. I think it's the sealer, the tar that's been put in the cracks. If you see those dark places in the racetrack, those are cracks, and they've been filled with some sort of tar-like stuff. I think that is really making the track slicker than normal.
But Mike, I think that was a big question on everyone's part. Could these guys stay up there? And there you look at them right now, battling for the 5th position. There's Roger Penske, the owner of Sam Hornish's car. And you look at our other two guys that qualified in the top 4. Ambrose has fallen back to 22nd. Scott Speed is back in 30th position.
But Hornish and Allmendinger carrying the day for the open wheel fans converted to NASCAR, as these two drivers have. Little brake lock up on Allmendinger getting into the corner. And now Jeff Gordon comes calling, looking for that top 5 spot.
But you know, Darrell said it earlier when AJ was leading this race in the 43 car. If he'll just be smart. Yep. 375 laps. Don't push the envelope. You've got a good race car.
You know, one of the things these guys have to learn, it's a total team effort. Driver does his part. Let the pit crew do their part. You've got a good race car. Let's put all those parts together, and the sum of all those parts will help us win a race.
I'm glad you mentioned total team, because it takes me to Richard Childress Racing. Here's Clint Boyer 9th, Jeff Burton 10th, Kevin Harvick 12th, all right in a row.
And they're pretty comfortable right now, I'd say, riding along where they are. They're not in a hurry, long way to go.
Yeah, and Boyer and Harvick qualified back in the 24th and the 25th position, and we're hearing that Martin Truex Jr., the 56
left
car,
side, left front, I think.
Dick Bourbon's coming to pit road.
4 tires again. We're going to do 4 here.
Well, Martin Truex's problem is he simply has lost the brakes on that car. This is a very heavy braking track, so it's not unusual for a driver to lose his brakes. But for Truex, he had his best finish of the year in 2009 right here at Phoenix.
Darrell, you know, we were talking about the tape on the front end of these race cars. As I walked through the garage area this morning, you have those big brake openings. A lot of crew chiefs were deciding to keep part of them taped up to help the downforce. They may be paying the price for that.
Larry, it's just common knowledge. If it's a track that you use a lot of brake, or if it's a track that you're going to run close to other people, you only put a minimum amount of tape, not maximum, and then pay the price by having to try to get it off.
Yeah, because all the downforce in the world, if you can't stop it getting in the corner, won't do a thing for you.
But this place is, as I said earlier in the show, this place is hard on brakes. It's really, really, you ride the car down here. You don't just get on them and get off. You ride them into the middle of the corner here. puts a lot of heat in the brakes.
Jimmie Johnson started 16th. Krista quickly worked his way into the top 10, and now he's the 4th place car.
Yeah, and really no surprise that he would be up there quick. They knew they were doing some experimentation. I talked to Chad Knaus this morning, the crew chief. He said they have a very similar setup when they're in with the race as to what they had last year. But right now, Jimmie says his car is lazy through the center.
Back to Martin Truex Jr. in that 56 car, we're getting a report that he had a right front tire that was actually loose. Was the problem he was fighting. And you know what? It'll vibrate, it'll kick the pads back and make you feel like you've got a brake problem.
Jeff Gordon, A.J. Allmendinger slugging it out for 6th place. And Matt Kenseth, who ended up our last race at Martinsville, clanging fenders with Gordon, is right there, right on top of them.
You think that maybe he's wanting to get up there and race with that 24 a little bit?
Well, I like what you said in the pre-race. He's lost most of the battles he's had with Jeff Gordon.
He's 0-4, I can tell you. He's lost all 4 battles they've had.
Might be a little early in the day for that, Darrell.
Oh, it's never too early for a payback.
Add Clint Boyer to that mix in the 33. That is 6th through 9th place right there.
Now, Boyer was one of those guys that ran the Nationwide Series race last night, one of those 13 drivers that you mentioned.
We had an eventful night, got a lap down, got it back, got in that big wreck on the front straightaway, but I think he still came home 13th last night.
Jeff Gordon prevails in that battle with Allmendinger, and now A.J. is going to have a mirror full of Matt Kenseth. Tony Stewart has caught Jimmie Johnson. He lets Jimmie go and then pulls right back up to his bumper.
Well, that's smart. You know, right in the middle of the straightaway, you see Mark Martin do it all the time. Ease up, let that guy by. It doesn't mess you up, and it doesn't mess him up. It's a win-win when you know the guy's faster than you are.
So Johnson to 3rd, running the same lap times as Montoya.
Boy, that 33 car, Boyer, he is so good through the middle of the corner. You could see him turn it almost all the way down on the apron and just pick up the throttle and drive right by the 43 car of Allmendinger.
Yeah, watching his hands there, he's not fighting with that car at all. He's got a nice steady tug on the wheel. That means the car is very comfortable. It's under him very well, and that's why he's moving forward.
Clint Boyer now in 8th place. Steve?
And here's what he's doing in that race car, Mike. He's trying to roll the corner. He's letting off earlier than the other drivers to get in the turns. He's doing a great job of saving the brakes, backing up those corners.
Well, it saves the brakes, and when you're letting it roll, when you pick the throttle up, it means you can stay in it, carry that speed all the way down the straightaway.
I say this about this car all the time, but this car is a car that the driver has to wait on. You've got to wait for this car to say, okay, I'm set now, you can go. If you rush it, it'll only push.
Now, Boyer raced last night. He did not come out here expecting to. John West Townley crashed his Nationwide car in practice. Richard Childress set Townley down for the night and put Clint Boyer aboard that number 21. So he is one of 13 double duty drivers in today's race. Juan Montoya is about 4/10 quicker than Joey Logano right now, and he's opened up a 2.5-second lead. You're watching the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox. .93 complete, 281 to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 at Phoenix International Raceway. There's the Subway race summary. Juan Pablo Montoya has been out front for 52 laps. He's led twice, one of 9 drivers to lead this race. 3 caution flags. First for Kurt Busch and Casey Kane, second for Jamie Mack, and the third one for Brian Vickers. That's occupied 20 of the 94 laps so far.
Mike, one thing we're going to have to watch here over the next hour, as the sun sets, track cools. Cars that are real good now may not be so great when the sun goes down, and guys that are struggling may come on. So that's a transition we got to wait and see.
So Larry, is your priority during the sunlight racing, keep the car in the lead lap, Keep it in contention. Don't fall more than, say, halfway through the pack.
And I think most of these guys know that's had a lot of success here, like Chad Knaus with the 48 car and Jimmie Johnson. You've got to keep making adjustments every pit stop. You've got to keep up at that racetrack. You don't get too aggressive, but you just got to be a little bit patient and just keep making those adjustments in baby steps.
Jimmie Johnson tosses patience to the wind as he goes side by side with Logano for second.
And the other thing, Larry, you got to do is convince your driver that your car may not be very good, but you're better than everybody else. You got to be a good salesman in the pits.
Here's a look at the ambient and track temperature. Start of the race to now, and it's cooling off a little bit, but most importantly, that track temperature.
Yeah, the 11 degrees is a lot, and turn 1 and 2 is almost completely in shade. It's going to be a little bit longer before turns 3 and 4 loses that sunlight, though, so you'll have a lot more grip in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4.
Montoya's lapping at right about 29.5 seconds, and he has a 2.7 second lead. Joey Logano pretty much backed up into Jimmie Johnson. Logano's running about 30 flat, and Johnson about 29 40s and 50s, same as the race leader.
A lot of these cars are doing what I've seen them do here so many times. Look good, handling good, like you flipped a switch. All of a sudden they go backward, like something happens to the tires.
Fourth place Tony Stewart running 29.60s. He's about 5 seconds off the lead. One driver who's fallen out of the top 15 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. What's up, Matt?
Mike, he's running in the 16th position, and his problems with the vibration still persist.
And I know
still got the problem. Real bad chatter and push through the trouble and down into 3 through the center. 3 and 4. The car just chatters the nose real bad, like it's got something wrong with it. 10-4.
And Dale Jr. says the car is just getting tighter and tighter. He says maybe it is the splitter that's really messing me up on entry.
I think it could be if he's got braces broken.
There's the center brace.
You see that center, and that thing will sit there and flap, and it'll mess with your mind.
But almost what he's describing is when he turns the wheels to the left, it's almost like the right front tire is bouncing, chattering to the point that it won't turn.
We saw this in practice yesterday when Kyle Busch spun. We saw his right front, as he exceeded the slip angle of the tire, just about try to jump off the rim a couple of times, like that.
I called it shimmying. I don't know if that's a good explanation or not, but it was really vibrating like was trying to come off the wheel. A guy I've been watching, Larry, has found a groove. Everybody's going to find it sooner or later, but this cat right here in the subway car, Carl Edwards, he is in the high line. Look at this, Larry. Look. Oh. I mean, he is taking it right to the limit. He has found a little traction up there, and he is coming forward.
And that's something that he may have found last night by running that Nationwide Series race. Yeah, it's a lot to do in 2 days, a lot of laps to run, but that's one advantage. Carl Edwards, Joey Logano, Clint Boyer, guys like that, Kyle Busch, they've got those laps from racing last night that you didn't get in this Cup car as far as practice.
But you're right, Darrell. He is flirting with the edge of this racetrack, and from there up, it's all marbles and into the fence.
Okay, he just, every now and then the crew chief will say, everybody else is running a little lower. I'm sure that's what happened there. He's going to run a lap and see what his lap time is. Then he will go migrate back to the top.
29.70 on the last lap.
The car looks a lot better running the high line, I can tell you, with just watching his hands.
Yeah, because that 29.70, that's not that great of a lap. You're stacking up against a lot of 29.30s and 40s and 50s.
See, Larry, how he's having to really work the wheel. It looked a lot smoother when he was up in the high line.
29.53 the last lap for Edwards, so a little pickup there into competitive territory. One driver we've not seen much of is his teammate at Roush Fenway Racing, Greg Biffle. Biffle's in 22nd spot after starting 30th. Steve?
And Mike, he's struggling. We always anticipate him running well here. 3 wins in the Nationwide Series. He said his car has no grip. In fact, they've added not 1, but 2 spring rubbers to the springs, and they've made a big wedge adjustment.
That's a pretty major swing at it when you start throwing spring rubbers in the spring to increase the spring rate.
Larry, that sounds like one of those teams that's just trying to hang on till sundown.
Well, and a good thing about a spring rubber, it can go in, it'll come out a lot easier.
I tell you, a guy that's going to worrying about the sun going down, it may be the sun coming up. That's Mark Martin. He has got his hands full with his car. He is all over the place. Car's loose. People get under him. He just lets them go. Robbie Gordon just went by him in the 7 car. Mark's car is real loose up off the corner.
He's fallen to 20th now. He started 23rd, moved up, and now Krista moving back.
Yeah, what Mark has been saying on the radio, telling his crew chief Alan Gustafson, he cannot turn through the center, especially compared to the guys around him. So when he's in that traffic, he cannot roll through the center, take easy on his brakes like the rest of the guys can.
But you know that guy that just went by him, we just mentioned him, Robbie Gordon, that 7 car. Robbie's one of those guys. He's outside the top 35 right now, qualified 33rd. He brought a man by the name of Larry Carter out here to help him, Gene Need. He brought a lot of people out here to help him, and he's driven the car from 33rd up to inside the top 20.
Robbie has a lot of success in desert racing. Maybe more off the pavement than on the pavement.
But there's another one of those road racers here at Phoenix, Darrell.
Yeah, he's a very talented guy. No question about that. Got a lot of car control, a lot of ability. Just need to get his organization tightened up a little bit.
Jimmie Johnson is cutting into Juan Montoya's lead. It's down to 1.3 seconds. And dropping just a bit. Montoya's led 67 laps of this race. The most he's ever led in a Sprint Cup race was 116 last year at Indianapolis. At a race that many folks think he could have, would have, should have won that race.
He had it won. Yep. By far the best car.
He's penalized for speeding on pit road late in the race.
Jimmie Johnson 1.4 seconds back in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
116 laps complete. Juan Montoya leads Jimmie Johnson by half a second. Casey Kane returns to the racetrack. He went out on lap 16 in a crash with Kurt Busch. That leaves only Brian Vickers and Johnny Sauter in the garage. Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Some drivers are concerned about tire chatter, some not so much as others. Carl Edwards.
Yeah, just not a lot of grip. You know, the balance isn't that bad. Just chattering the nose a little bit. A lot of these guys are looser, though, and that's kind of how I'm able to pick them apart. Tough to say right now, Bob.
10 for you. I don't want to get you too loose so you can't go on the beginning. You know, that's where the bread and butter is.
For more in-car audio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed.
Like that bread and butter, don't you, Larry?
I do. And what Bob's talking about, we may get a late race caution. We got to go from the drop of the green flag.
That's right.
Our outside pole sitter, Scott Speed, has fallen off the lead lap. He's 1 lap down as Jimmie Johnson to second. Logano now third with Matt Kenseth on his bumper. And Tony Stewart. That's the top 5.
Remember in the pre-race show I said if you're going to make a statement to the 48 team, tonight might be the night to do it. You can forget that.
I believe he's a-coming.
I think you can forget that one.
But you know, looking at Matt Kenseth, remember on that first caution back on lap 15, Todd Parrott decided to roll the dice, get that track position. He paid the price a little bit, but he gained a lot more than he lost, and here he is up in the top 5. Now, this is by far the longest green flag run we've had. We're only about 10 to 15 laps away from what will be green flag pit stops.
Matt Kenseth has come from 27th place to 3rd as they're all chasing Juan Pablo Montoya driving for Chip Ganassi.
I believe a lot of these guys are just hanging on, waiting for the nighttime, waiting for the track to cool down, get their car right then, because that's where the race is going to finish, in the dark. think some of these guys are really not too worried just yet.
Yeah, because what it'll do a lot when it cools down, you heard Carl Edwards talking about grip, it maybe won't hurt a car that bad that's good now, but it will certainly help a car that doesn't have a lot of grip right now because the track's going to gain grip.
Boy, Brad Keselowski in that number 12 has been after Jeff Burton now for about half a dozen laps. They fight for 13th place, and A.J. Allmendinger, our pole sitter, going to let him go.
Yeah, and we've got the word a while ago that AJ in that 43 car, he's fighting his car not turning. It's pushing, especially into this long run we're having right now.
I think AJ needs to move up a little bit. He's been hung on the bottom all night long, and it looks to me like there is a little bit of grip if you'd move up some and maybe try that for a while. But he's committed to that yellow line, as you can see.
You know, Mike, this is the second race with this rear spoiler. We started with it at Martinsville. And going back to what Carl Edwards was saying, a lot of people he's racing around is loose. That's kind of what this rear spoiler did to some degree. It hurt the drag of the car, the straightaway speed, but even though it was a change at the back of the car, it puts more downforce on the nose of the car and tends to make the car actually a little bit loose.
Now, the way it was explained to me, Larry, is the pressure point, the air pushing on the car, was moved forward several inches. So that's why it's put downforce on the nose.
Johnson is there. If Montoya runs into trouble in traffic, we will have a new leader. They come up on David Gilliland, and there is Jeff Gordon ahead of Tony Stewart, 5th and 6th. Here's Johnson looking for the lead. Not this time.
All kinds of lap traffic up in front of our leader right now.
Kevin Conway gives way for his teammate Gilliland in the 37. And now here come the leaders to the inside.
Boy, they're tracking each other, aren't they? The 48 and the 42. I mean, they're tracking each other down on the apron right together.
And Darrell, we see this a lot in the race where those guys get below that yellow line on that apron, a little bit of grip there. Also, it'll help that car hook and turn.
Yeah, it basically what we call de-wedges the car, unloads the car, and helps the car cut the corner a little bit better. Plus, those left side tires down on that asphalt there, there's a little more grip at that when you drop down on the apron like that.
Here comes Keselowski. He and Burton continue to battle. Now it's for 13th position.
You know, this 12 car, Brad Keselowski, just started this season off. I mean, dismal. Had that great run going in Atlanta when the situation happened with Carl Edwards. And ever since then, they've been good and solid every single week.
And we really don't know how good he was at Daytona either, Larry, because, you know, third lap of the race, blew a left rear tire, wrecked, and was out. So took them a little time to get their act together, but they're working now.
Second generation driver from Michigan as Marcus Ambrose comes up to be part of that battle. Now you see a lot of slower cars to the outside. Back in the day, we had a lot of what we called independent drivers, fellows without big sponsorships, but they'd come, they'd run all day, try to get a good position, and we're back in that situation again. And here is Tony Stewart unexpectedly on pit road.
This should be a scheduled green flag pit stop because we're right there. Steve, I think this is a scheduled stop.
Larry Mack, we're in the window now. Tony Stewart saying it's worse than it was on the first run. His biggest problem is he's really loose off of turn 4. Stewart is optimistic that as the sun goes down, they'll get better, but really fighting it off turn 4, Matt.
Jamie McMurray is in, so is Dale Jr., Matt.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still trying to get that car to free up. They're going to make significant track bar adjustment on the 88 and an air pressure change once again for Dale Jr. His car just not to his liking ever since they made that first stop this afternoon.
Clint Boyer is in. Here's our pole sitter Allmendinger. Greg Biffle to the pit lane, Regan Smith and David Reagan. Paul Menard also coming in. Once that window opens, Larry, a whole bunch of bugs fly in.
Well, you can't sit out there too long on older tires and these cars on fresh tires. They'll be beating you about a second and a half a lap.
Dick?
A.J. Allmendinger had drifted all the way back to the 15th position before this round of pit stops, Mike. He had no grip in the front, no grip in the back. The wrench has gone in the back window on both sides, so significant adjustments to Allmendinger's car. He had started on the pole.
Keselowski is in. Hornish. Now Juan Montoya to pit road along with Gilliland, Robbie Gordon, Joey Logano, and Mark Martin. Steve?
Mike, Juan Pablo saying he's really good in turns 1 and 2. Getting tighter, though, as the run goes on. They make a chassis adjustment. He said, I need to be looser at the end of the run, but need more forward bite, Krista.
Joey Logano's car was tight just in the center of 3 and 4, but then it went tight everywhere, so they have to loosen up the 20 on this stop.
Sadler, Rudeman, Burton, and Hamlin to the pit lane. Here comes Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch, along with Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. Ryan Newman's in. Here's Matt.
Jeff Gordon had to really get on the brakes. It messes up his entry into his pit stall due to the 31 of Burton leaving. The final third of that run, nobody was faster on the track than the 24 of Gordon. He had to back up his entry, though. The car was a little too free. The left side tires going on. Krista.
Jimmie Johnson brings his car in, talking about giving up. He thought maybe it was the set of tires that was affecting the handling, so they're going to go with 4 tires for Jimmie Johnson. He said his race car definitely changed throughout that run. Matt?
And Matt Kenseth said his car was more loose than tight over that run. No changes, though, just a tear-off. The sun, dust, and bugs playing a factor for visibility.
Car in the wall, turn 4.
It's Kurt Busch, the 2 car.
Looked like he cut a right front tire down. He just took off into the fence.
No caution. The track is clear. And Montoya goes back to the lead. Now see if Busch could make it off the track safely.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he didn't get down on the apron.
Well, I think he's trying to, Larry, but you can't, when the right front's torn up like that, you can't just kind of go where you want to.
So the only driver who has not stopped is 5th place Scott Riggs. He would be the big beneficiary if the caution waves, but the yellow flag is not in the starter's hand. We're going to stay green.
And just to talk about those fresh tires, we had almost every single car pit within about a 5-lap window because they wanted to get those fresh tires on there.
But one thing, mark this down, the 48 was the last to come. That couple of laps at the end of the race.
And we're under caution. Kurt Busch made it to pit road, but there's debris on the racetrack. And what a break for Scott Riggs. When Casey Mears stepped over to Joe Gibbs Racing to stand in relief for Denny Hamlin, Scott Riggs was tapped to drive the Raymond Key number 90. There's a look at Mears, and the car he exited just got a huge break from this caution because Riggs hasn't been to pit road since lap 57, and now he's the 6th place car.
I got a feeling that Doug Richard, my old NASCAR performance buddy, he was going to run that 90 car probably till it couldn't go any more on fuel. There's Doug Richard. Actually was a crew chief when Dale Earnhardt Sr. won his first championship back in 1980.
Well, I wonder if we'll have a driver change on this little caution period.
Well, he told us in the pre-race he would make a decision somewhere around lap 50 to 75 because of that long green flag run. We're now to lap 135.
But, you know, looking in his face, looking at his eyes, I don't see any grimace there. I don't see him looking like he's hurting. Looks pretty comfortable to me, pretty confident.
David Reagan will get the free pass. He was the first car 1 lap down as we work the 4th caution of the day for debris in turn number 2. Dick, what's the situation on Hamlin?
Well, he's going to stay in the car, Mike, by the looks of things, but they're going to have to do a lot of work on it. There has been front-end damage to it. They had the electrical problem we reported on earlier, and they are going to pull both of the batteries out of this car and replace them. Casey Mears, however, sits still on top of the pit box. He is not planning to get in the car on this stop. It is likely Hamlin is going to try to run the whole race.
Fixing those crush panels in that right front was one thing I was worried about, getting fumes up in the car.
Now that battery is in front of the left rear tire. That's the reason they hadn't raised the hood or anything. They just take the left rear tire off. It'll be right there. And they're also doing repair work on the front end of that 88 car, trying to get those splitter braces repaired.
239 laps to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need reliable shipping options. FedEx. By the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Ford. Swap your ride at a local Ford dealer today. Time for AT&T Race Break. We are live in Phoenix, and moments ago with Juan Pablo Montoya leading Jimmie Johnson here. 236 laps to go, and Denny Hamlin, the highest he's been, 13th, being pushed here, and some battery problems. Denny Hamlin, who won the last time we raced, the race in Martinsville, had the knee surgery after that race, and told us on the pre-race show after 50 laps he'd give us a gauge. He's hanging in there, but he's in a lot of pain, obviously, and has been throughout the race, and has been involved in a couple of the cautions early. Casey Kane and Kurt Busch, a mix-up in this one. On board in the 11 car with Denny Hamlin, and some damage to his car afterwards. In the restart, Jamie McMurray spun here by Quint Boyer. And then on lap 56, the track continuing to take its whole slick. That's Brian Vickers with a problem, and moments ago, the problem with Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, you see them right there. They're pushing the 11 car back to pit road. They came in during that caution to try to work on the car to get a little bit better. Had a battery issue. Tried to change the battery. It left pit road. Then at the end of the pit road, all of a sudden the car went dead again. They had to push him back around into the pit area.
Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, still quite a bit of green flag racing despite some of the cautions.
Yeah, right now we're on board with Denny Hamlin. They've got the car going once again under power, so they've got that 11 car back running. But he now finds himself 2 laps down. And to me, when you're 2 laps down and not able to keep up with the leaders, it may be time to pull him out of the car and just try to, just give him some relief as far as what he's having to deal with right now. There's Casey Mears on top of the pit box at Joe Gibbs Racing. He's ready if they'll just give him the nod.
Casey Mears has run 12 times at Phoenix, 11th his best finish, and of course in the points picture, Denny Hamlin 15th coming in.
And understand something here. This is the driver's decision. I mean, the crew chief and the owner might say, what do you think? You can't pull him out of that car if he doesn't want to get out of it. I mean, I think Darrell Waltrip can play off of that, but it's very, very difficult to sometimes make those decisions for the best of the team, though.
I'm sure Joe Gibbs, part of obviously the man in charge, this is something with J.D. Gibbs that was discussed beforehand. And look, a good athlete, good driver, they're going to want to finish. They're going to want to tough it out. You have to do what's best, and given the circumstances.
Well, this is going to be very difficult. He's got to make up 2 laps now to get himself back up to where he can really score some points. With the damage on the car, him not filling up to par, I mean, that's a pretty tall order.
Meanwhile, Juan Pablo Montoya, what kind of adjustments? We saw the recent pit stop, but as the track changes for the 42 car, what kind of adjustments should they be making?
Well, each car's going to be a little bit different. Right now it looked like Juan Pablo's car is pretty good on the long run. We've seen the track temperature continue to come down. We had our guys check it just a moment ago. Track temperature is about 102 degrees. When we started, it was 115 degrees. So the hotter and slicker it is, the more harder it is to grip. As it cools down, the cars are going to tighten up. You've got to keep up with those adjustments. So far, Brian Patty and that crew on that 42 car, they've done an excellent job, as well as Chad Knaus in the 48.
Be sure to cast your vote all season long for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew from your AT&T phone. Text the car number of the crew you think that is the most valuable to 2258. Delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. Juan Pablo Montoya, slightly ahead of Jimmie Johnson.
The sun is low in the sky in Phoenix, Arizona. 232 laps to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 600. We're under the 4th caution flag of the day. This one for debris in turn number 2 from Kurt Busch, who hit the wall in 4 and did make it back to pit road. There is a look at the running order. Everybody through the top 25 is on the lead lap. A very interesting race among the cars that are the usually termed the starting parkers, the fellows who don't have full sponsorships to run the whole race. Nobody wants to be the first of those out of the race. There are 5 of them. They're between 19 and 36 laps down, but nobody's giving it up. Like Dave Blaney, who always qualifies well, or his teammate Michael McDowell from nearby Glendale, Arizona. They come in for fuel and tires, go back out. Terry Cook is one of those, but nobody's willing to go to the garage.
Well, NASCAR has pretty much a new protocol. The first car out of the race, if it's not tore up, you go back to the R&D center for a full-blown inspection, just like the race winner.
There's a look at McDowell from Phoenix. Let's go down to Jeff Hammond today in the Nationwide pit zone.
Thanks, Mike. The key thing when you think about sitting on top of this pit box is making the right decisions. We've already discussed the fact here at Phoenix how important it is to keep up with track changes. Well, a lot of these teams today, they've got their notebook, just like any good coach, all the plays you need. And I'm talking about the track changing all the way to the scenarios of whether late in the race, whether you take 2 tires, 4 tires, or even no tires in certain situations. We saw this a couple weeks ago at Martinsville when Mike Ford came to pit road unexpectedly, everybody thinking it was the wrong call, but because of his playbook, he was able to do it, get it done, and still win the race. The playbook on top of this box, well, that's where it all happens, folks.
Thanks, Jeff.
Wonder if he has a playbook to take a hurt driver in a wrecked car and 2 laps down and get back in the race.
There's a guy with a playbook right there.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Knaus.
But, you know, I talked to Mike Ford right after that race, and Mike Ford said that he absolutely knew the window of laps where he was going to stay out or whether he was going to come to pit road. And when that caution came out, by his playbook Jeff Hammond just talked about, pit.
The busiest pit crew under this caution has been Jamie McMurray's. He has been in half a dozen times, twice to check the left front and then to set the toe, and then they brought him back in again, Larry.
Yeah, Chris Devoda talked about him complaining after that spin that the toe out was out, and of course that's the amount you aim the front of the tires out on the front versus the rear to make the car stable, and you don't do it by raising the hood. You jack it up and adjust the tie rod, and that crew, they pretty much have kept him on the lead lap.
Going to wave off the restart. There are still safety trucks on the racetrack. The jet dryers blew debris off the racetrack. Hamlin is 2 laps down after the battery change and the car stalling at the pit exit.
You know, I know it all went out the window and was all for naught, but I'm sure that 42 car, they hated to see that caution came out, because under those green flag stops, not only did Montoya get advantage of his fresh tires sooner than the 48, but the time in the pit stall, Montoya's crew was a second faster than the 48 crew.
Wow.
Tells me that the 48 may have made a slight chassis adjustment.
Joey Logano leads our Toyota top performers of the race at lap 147. He's 3rd with Kyle Busch 8th, and Marcus Ambrose, who started the day in 4th, running in 14th. There are 25 cars on the lead lap. That includes David Reagan, who just got the free pass. And nobody yet has been in the position to take that wave around. So we're set for the restart with 2:29 to go and still a whole lot of sunshine on turns 3 and 4.
Mike, you mentioned McMurray in that one car, and I think they have actually called it off again. We're not going this time, so it'll be 1 to go, which is a big break for that one car because he's sitting on pit road. They're still trying to adjust that tie rod on that right front to get the toe out right.
Murray is away. He will beat the pace car to the pit exit. Let's check with Matt.
And Mike, visibility, a big issue for Matt Kenseth. A few moments ago, he told his spotter, Mike Kalanoff, when the safety trucks were on the track, he had a hard time actually seeing them because the sun was glaring into his eyes so badly coming off 4. He said, help me out, be more descriptive if we have any kind of incident off turn 4 or on the front stretch, because I'm having such a hard time seeing at this juncture.
See, that's one thing I don't understand. If you have the playbook, how come you don't have all that tape like Martin Truex? See, he's getting ready to pull a piece off here. That's what you do. You put it on the inside so the driver can adjust it to his liking. But why would you not have prepare yourself knowing that the sun's going to be a problem during this race near the as it starts to set in the afternoon? I'm surprised.
It's not like you have a sun visor to flip down.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't take that into consideration.
Another challenge, spotters are normally above the grandstands on the front stretch. So spotters here at Phoenix are dead in the middle of 1 and 2. Makes it tough to make a call going away from you going into 3 or coming at you down the front straightaway.
But the good thing, Larry, they don't have to look into the sun like the drivers do coming down the front stretch. We'll complete 148 laps this time and look for the green flag. Pace car is in.
Watch these restarts. They are treacherous.
Green flag. And Johnson has the measure of Montoya. Things stack up a little bit behind them.
Boy, Jimmie Johnson waltzed his car down into the corner under Montoya. The thing was really dancing with him as he got into the turn.
We've not seen anybody prevail on the bottom on a restart till right then.
And you'll hear Chad Knaus's favorite words. New leader, 48.
The other words he likes, that's why you're the 4-time champion.
Yeah. Boy, Tony Stewart with a little trouble down in the corner, and he loses 2 spots. One to Kyle Busch and one to Sam Hornish.
Well, I think we're getting ready to go through that transition, Larry. We're getting real close to the sun getting, it's already turned 4. It's starting to shade up a little bit. And you can watch it out of Carl's car, how quickly that sun goes away. This track's getting ready to go through a big change, big swing.
Yeah, the front stretch is shaded, turn 1 and 2. Just a little bit of sun down in turn 3 and down the back stretch right now. Yeah, the track will go through 2 transitions. When we get to this point right here, and then we go into the nighttime.
Matt?
And Mike, exactly what DW and Larry Mack were talking about. That was the same conversation that the driver of the 24 and his crew chief had under the last caution. Said their previous run, a very weird cycle. One guy would hit on him for 10 to 15 laps and he would fade and somebody else would. They said this next transition will be probably one of the biggest. So we're just going to have to hang on because we've got the shade down in 1 and 2, but it's still a lot of sun on the racetrack in 3 and 4.
Daryl, that's what you were talking about. Just hang on. It's going to come to you. Crew chief's got to be that salesman you were talking about.
Yes, sir. Make me believe it.
First 14 cars single file. The first battle, Keselowski and Burton for 15th place with David Rudiman. All knotted up there. You're riding with Rudiman.
Do that.
No.
Whoa.
Won't work this early in the race for sure.
Not now, buddy, not now.
That's Burton on the inside in the cat car, and Keselowski to the outside, and neither driver can gain anything.
And I believe Rudiman may be a little faster than those guys right now, but they got him boxed in. Now, this is the battle right here for 5th. Kenseth in the 17 and Gordon in the 24 car.
Ryan Newman, Marcus Ambrose for 12th place, side by side. Ambrose on the outside.
And you know, I think they are making adjustments to that 47 car of Ambrose to make him better each time, because remember, qualified 4th, fell outside the top 20. Now he's back inside, well inside the top dozen.
Ooh, Newman shoved up the racetrack and almost got into the Toyota.
Yeah, once you get somebody under you, I mean, if they move at all, you got to go up the hill, and if there's anybody there, then you make a lot of contact.
Burton and Keselowski still side by side with Rudiman. That's on the left of your screen.
When you run that high line coming off turn 2 over there, get up a little bit higher, it gives you such a shot down that back straightaway. Even with the dog leg, the kink back there really gives you a lot of speed getting into turn 3.
A long way to go. You got 4 back to the 5. Plenty of room here.
David
4
Rudiman's
back to the 5, meaning 4 car lengths back to the 5. Well, he doesn't have that cushion anymore.
No, but you know what? Talking about the 5, he was out to lunch when it was hot and slick. That car, I've been watching it. It's coming alive. It's getting a little better. He's on the move.
Well, that is the group that won this race a year ago, so they know what this track is going to do going from daylight to dark.
Kevin Harvick takes 8th place from Sam Hornish, a driver who got his first IndyCar win here. In fact, Steve, he's won here twice in open wheelers.
And Mike, he's doing a great job in the top 10 here at Phoenix. He's saying my car is consistently tight. I feel like the right front might be working too hard, so that's the issue for Hornish.
And when that's going on, the air pressure is just really gaining in that right front tire, and it just makes the car tighter and tighter, makes it just where it won't respond to the steering wheel.
But I think that's one thing we learned about Sam Hornish. He's figuring these cars out more and more and more all the time. That's feedback that he couldn't have given to that team probably a year ago, 6 months ago.
Here's David Rudiman in the 00 fighting Brad Keselowski for 16th.
Oh, it's old GoDaddy looking around here, snooping around.
Now just in front of this group is Marcus Ambrose in the 47, Krista.
Marcus Ambrose certainly has his hands full. He said if he brakes too hard, he's loose in. His car is shaking, bouncing. He said it is fighting him, and it's very hard to race.
And I don't care, you know, you can say roll out of the throttle, all that. You still have to run down in the corners pretty hard here and use a lot of brake.
Jeff Gordon trying to hold on to 6th against Kyle Busch.
That 18 car, Larry, is another car that looks like it's woke up.
Well, and I'm sure he's glad the sun's going down for a lot of reasons. Remember, we got the report that his air conditioning, driving cooling system is not working.
That's not good for him because he gets pretty hot most of the time.
In more ways than one.
One way or another.
So Kyle Busch in 6th, Jeff Gordon 7th. Moving forward, Matt Kenseth is the 5th place car. It wasn't that long ago that he was battling with Gordon. Now he's pulled way away. And he's coming up on Clint Bowyer, the number 33, in 4th place. And right now, Kenseth is about 1/10 of a second per lap quicker than Bowyer.
Typical Matt Kenseth race. You know, steady as she goes. Don't have to do a lot of selling to him. It'll come to you, and he knows it.
Now just in front of them, Joey Logano is 3.2 seconds off the lead, and he's running just about the same lap times as Bowyer, though he's running a different line.
And you know, even though coming into this race, still 20 races until we determine the top 12 drivers for the chase, we start talking about who's in there that's going to fall out, who's outside that may get in. This may be a car that gets in that top 12. Remember, he comes in here 13th in the points after finishing 2nd at Martinsville.
Right. And one of those drivers that has some work to do if he's going to repeat his position in the chase is the 2nd place car, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Thing that Joey Logano's got to do, I think, is, Larry, at the end of these races, on these restarts, like he did at Martinsville, he's got to hold his ground. He can't get run over and pushed around.
Yeah, Joey even commented after Martinsville, even though he won Loudon last year, that Martinsville was the best race he's put together as far as the way he ran and the way he finished.
Montoya about 1.1 seconds off the lead, which is held by Jimmie Johnson. Johnson has led 18 laps so far. The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox continues after this word from your local Fox station.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Jeff Gordon has the fastest lap of the race, 27.69 seconds. And the driver who has gained the most positions, David Rudiman, is up 23 spots since the start of this race. Matt Kenseth has passed 22 cars. For more NASCAR stats and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed.
Now the MWR cars, all the Michaels cars, are in the top 20 right now. That's a pretty good run for them so far.
The racetrack transitioning to shade. Now only turn 3 is still in bright sunlight, and that may provide some relief to Kyle Busch. Dick, how's that driver air conditioning unit working?
Well, the driver air conditioning unit is back on again, Mike, and Kyle Busch is having a pretty good run for himself this afternoon. He has been in the top 10 for much of the time. Front end's not exactly the way he wants it right now, but he's in 4th position despite the fact that he says the nose is sliding around a little bit.
Let's be clear here. It's not an air conditioner,
well, no.
Not like you have in your automobile. It takes the air from outside, puts it into a box, and it is cool air or fresh air more than it is cold air.
And really, the only place it blows it in is in the helmet.
Yeah, that hose
anywhere else.
The hose that's in the back of your helmet.
Kyle won here in his rookie season, 2005.
He needs a good run because this is another team. They've only had one top 10 finish in 2010 so far.
Fastest car on the track.
I never like to hear that.
Why not?
Well, because it usually wasn't true.
Oh.
But he speaks the truth because he just ran a 29.05, and the closest thing to him is Jimmie Johnson at a 29.17, 29.20.
You hear that a lot of times, and you say, well, how come I'm not passing anybody?
Or how come that car in front of him is getting smaller?
Smaller. What's the deal? That's usually some of that selling I was talking about.
Johnson's lead over Montoya now 1.4 seconds. Joey Logano 3.8 seconds back as the race has developed a green flag look about it. Larry, what's the trend of this race for caution flags? Now we have 600, not 500 kilometers. It's a longer length. But how does this race trend out?
It normally always finds a green flag run, and we get into green flag stops the middle to the latter part of the race. But this also says the trends say we get that late race caution that bunches them back up. Everybody hits pit road for tires.
You got to kind of run this race on what you know, and then that what you don't know, you'll know the next time you come back.
Montoya in second. He's had such success in Formula One and in Indy cars. He has one Sprint Cup victory. Logano in third, now 4.2 seconds off the lead. Rookie of the year last year. His teammate Kyle Busch, a winner here last night in the Nationwide Series.
His 65th career win in the top NASCAR 3 Series.
Matt Kenseth in fifth. He's come all the way from 27th to be a challenger here today. And Jeff Gordon, who started 10th, and now runs just outside the top 5.
I think Jeff Gordon is one of those guys just lurking back there, watching the laps wind down.
Clint Boyer in 7th, Steve.
Mike, he says his car is too tight in the center. His crew chief Shane Wilson said, good, it should be. It'll loosen up as it gets cooler.
Boyer's come from 25th. His teammate, Kevin Harvick, started 24th and has climbed to 8th place.
Both those cars are running very well, and so is Burton. They're all three right there, just hanging around.
Sam Hornish started in the second row. And for Roger Penske, he's done a stellar job today. 9th place for Sam.
Guy we were watching a little bit earlier, Carl Edwards in that 99 car. He's running about where he started 9th, running 10th right now.
And I know the two cars wrecked, but the addition of Steve Addington to Penske Racing, all of these guys, the 77 and the 12 both have benefited.
3rd place, a swap of position between teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch, who began the day in 17th spot, up to 3rd. Let's pick back up at 11th spot. Ryan Newman started 14th. He's up to 11th, 4 spots ahead of his teammate Tony Stewart. And Marcus Ambrose started in the second row. Right now he's running in 12th place.
I think that's one of those cars that likes the long run, and I think the car behind him, Jeff Burton, the 31 car running in 13th, that's another one that tends to like the long runs. Not good on the short run, but the long run.
Robbie Gordon started way back in 33rd, Krista. He's up to 14th.
And what a great run for the 17. Remember, they're trying to get into the top 35 in points. They're just 54 points out of that coveted 35th position. So staying where they're at or improving today would go miles. And I mentioned Miles because officially their crew chief this race is Miles Stanley. Yes, they have Gene Meade calling the race, Larry Carter as a consultant. Miles Stanley, a 2-year employee with the 17, is the crew chief.
I've been watching the 7 car just because I like Robbie Gordon and like to see how he's going to do. That's the best looking race car he's had on the racetrack, maybe in a year. The car is handling and it's running, and it really looks good around the racetrack.
Good point. Tony Stewart had a major change on the car on the last pit stop, and it went the wrong way on him. He's back at 15.
Yeah, and Steve Burns was telling us that they're one of the groups they're waiting for this track to really cool down, that they feel like they've got to be a little bit patient, but I still think they've got some adjustments they're going to have to make on that car.
16th is the number 12 of Brad Keselowski, Matt.
Great run last night, Mike, in the Nationwide Series race, but for about the last 80 laps, he's been hovering just outside that 15th position. The previous run, he said the car was good. It was free from entry through center to exit. He's pretty pleased. They're about one more adjustment away from having the car where he thinks they could have a good top 10 to top 5 car.
17th. Last year's winner and pole sitter here, Mark Martin. Now he's up 6 spots from where he started.
Boy, that's an unusual position for Mark to have his hands on the wheel. Normally, Mark Martin is both hands over on the left side of the wheel, really pulling that wheel down. I've never seen Mark driving a car quite like that there. I've never seen his right hand where it is right there now. Tells me that car's not doing something he wants it to do.
Darrell, I was looking at the stripe on the steering wheel that indicates straight, and it's bent way over. Could that car got knocked out of alignment?
You know, something's different because that's not the typical Mark Martin positioning as far as his hands on the wheel go.
You know, we're about 15 laps away from what will be another green flag pit stop, looking back at Mark Martin again, but we just saw Matt Kenseth go by Joey Logano in that 20 car. I think that 20 car will be one of the earlier cars to hit pit road when we get to that green flag window, because he's lost a couple of spots here just in the last few laps.
And most importantly, Logano's running about 4/10 slower than the rest of the race leaders. Jeff Gordon's going to go past Logano. That's for 5th place. And here is Montoya, 1.4 seconds off of Jimmie Johnson's lead. Steve.
And Mike, he just caught a lucky break. He was starting to overheat. His spotter tab boy said, "You've got something on the grill." Moments later, he said, as you see him slip a little bit, he said, "I just saw a big piece of paper come off. I think we're okay."
You can see it right there.
Boy, that is a break.
I think there's oil in turn 2. I saw a number of cars that really looked like they were having a problem off of turn 2, Montoya being one of them.
And just as after that started, Darrell, the 55 of Dave Blaney was very slow going down the back stretch.
Yeah, something happened over to the racetrack off 2. I believe there might be oil or water or something over there.
It's the 5th caution flag of the day, and it is for fluid in turn 2. Good catch.
I thought something happened to Montoya's car. I just saw the car slip really bad, and he almost stopped. And then I said, whoa, what's going on over there?
Tell you what, that was a big break for Dale Earnhardt Jr., David Rudiman, Greg Biffle. Those guys were just about to go a lap down to the 48.
Watch the 42, Larry. He's coming through here, coming, and all of a sudden that thing got really bad loose with him. And he's lucky to catch it and save it.
And Dave Blaney has coasted his car into the garage. There was no trail of fluid behind it, so not sure if he was the reason for the caution flag. Scott Speed will get the free pass. And here comes everybody to pit road. Krista.
About 10 laps ago, Jimmie Johnson said he was losing the ability to turn into turn 1. Then he said about 5 laps later, my car is getting tight. The crew goes to work making an adjustment. Matt?
The 17 of Kenseth, Matt said that his car was getting worse and worse on that run as far as grip. Loose in, loose off. Air pressure change for Kenseth, Steve.
Chassis adjustment for Juan Pablo, Matt. He says, when I lean on it too hard, it snaps. 4 tires also and a clean windshield. Nick?
Kyle Busch doesn't really know what he wants to do to his race car. They are going to be chasing the racetrack. He is leery of trying to make any significant changes, so they didn't make any on that last round of pit stops. The track is going to change, according to Kyle Busch, now that the sun has gone down behind the mountains.
Tell you what, Kyle Busch's pit crew, they are rocking and rolling down there. They pick up a spot. And look at Carl Edwards in the 99 group, 3 spots.
185 laps to go. We're under caution in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Subway now has breakfast. Build your better breakfast only at Subway. Just over halfway here in Phoenix, about another hour of daylight. Jimmie Johnson leading Kyle Busch. And time for an AT&T race break. If you tuned in a little bit late, Denny Hamlin, who won the last time we raced and had the knee surgery in pain, has hung in there but has not been a factor. Hamlin winning 3 of the last 11 races, but never led in this one. Kurt Busch, who's led the most laps of any driver this season, involved here with Casey Kane. Actually, Hamlin caught up in part of this as well. So aside from physical pain, some damage to his car. Juan Pablo Montoya has led the most laps, 104, passing Tony Stewart for the lead here. And Jimmie Johnson, the points leader. 4 of the last 5 wins. Races run here in Phoenix, taking the lead, and he is your leader now, 45 laps and continuing to lead. Moments ago, after the 5th caution here, Kyle Busch with some problems in the pits complaining about the tear-off and at least the vision. But certainly the pit stop, his crew came out of it okay.
Yeah, they made a good stop right there. Take a quick look here compared to Jimmie Johnson right there at 12.9 on that 18 car. I mean, he really smoked them, especially on that right side, and the left side was pretty darn quick also. But look how he compared to Jimmie Johnson, and in particularly Juan Pablo Montoya. They had a very slow stop. He was second at the time. He now finds himself back in 4th position. And Larry Mack, you can't win races. This is one of those things about closing a deal. If it's 42 wants to win, they got to be able to make good pit stops like this 48 car does.
But Jeff, in their defense, I think we just went through that huge transition of this track cooling down, and I think they made a major adjustments which actually held their pit stop up a little bit. Yeah, on pit road total, the 18 car was 3 seconds quicker from the time Kyle Busch entered pit road to the left than Montoya.
And Larry, Jeff, Jimmie Johnson leading Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Montoya, and then Clint Bowyer. Carl Edwards currently running 6th. We've already had 11 leaders and 15 lead changes. That tops the number for the entire race this time last year here in Phoenix. If you want to text your opinion on who you think will win the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award, match them with Jeff Hammond's selection, the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year, delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. 180 laps to go. Still 25 cars on the lead lap. Jimmie Johnson will have lane choice. He's elected the outside for this restart. Kyle Busch will start on the inside of the front row. Montoya and Kenseth, Edwards and Bowyer, Hornish and Harvick, Newman and Logano will be the top 10. Joey Logano lost a lot of spots on that caution flag pit stop. He dropped, was it 3 or 4 3 spots?
I don't know, but if I was Jimmie Johnson in the 18 car, Kyle Busch was starting next to me going down into turn 1, I'd want to hope and pray I beat him to the corner, because the 18 is going to bonsai in there, you know.
Which the 48 did on the last restart when he was on the inside.
He did that to Montoya.
Kyle Busch had some restart issues in last night's nationwide race. We may get to show you some of that later on tonight.
Too early one time, too late one time.
That's right. The leader restarts the race, and that is Jimmie Johnson. Here they come off turn number 4. Green flag.
Well, that 18 got a pretty good run through the middle of 1 and 2, but look at that 48 car just rocket off turn 2. Here comes Montoya in the 42.
Yeah, that 48 has definitely got the nighttime setup working now, Larry. Oh, we got a car.
2 cars up in the wall. Truex just misses it, and it's Keselowski.
Caution is out. Right side damage. We got in the wall. Shouldn't be all that bad, but we're going to definitely work on it.
And he limps to the flag. Keselowski does, holding on to 22nd position.
You know, one of the things that I didn't realize, but with the spoiler, the way it hangs over the edge of the quarter panels, every time one of these cars gets into the wall, it pushes the back of the car over. It pushes the blade over.
I think 3 wide down the back straightaway into 3 may have kind of helped this to happen.
It's never a very good idea.
Well, and Keselowski slid up in front of Truex in the 56, and Truex got into the back of the 12.
Just being a little too aggressive on these restarts happens so much.
There's the contact.
Yep.
What Truex did well to save it in the 56.
But that view right there, that's similar to what the spotter has, and you could tell. It would be hard to tell that 12 car clear high.
Let's watch from Truex's onboard camera.
It could have been a little give and take right there. They could have avoided that.
Keselowski was trying to give Stewart room on the bottom, right, and just ran out of room. Everybody did. So it's the 6th caution flag, and the beneficiary of the free pass will be Paul Menard.
Yeah, I'm with Darrell. You know, the 56 could have rolled out just a little bit there, but the 12 was definitely going up, and the hole just was not there.
Yeah, once you're 3 wide there, somebody needs to make a good decision about letting somebody go, and I think it.
Now there's the spotters up above the suites in turns 1 and 2. That wreck happened going into turn number 3, not quite half a mile away.
It's a long way away, and they're going away from you. It's
Yeah.
just, it's hard to make that call. I've spotted here, and it's the driver, and to some degree, is on his own right there.
Tough break for Keselowski. Carl Edwards has ditched the sunglasses at this stage.
Yep, he's in night mode now. He's had time to eat a sandwich on the last couple of cautions. Wonder what he had for a sandwich.
I would say it probably came from Subway.
Came from Subway. Didn't he like that chicken onion?
Sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
Yeah, that's it.
Carl's favorite Subway sub. There's another problem here. You know, every week we've been plagued with rain, not here in Phoenix, not in the desert, but it's been a very wet spring. The Gila River is up above its banks. Everything's been damp, so we have a new problem. Bugs. Krista, our resident entomologist, has more.
Yes, I am the exterminator, doing a little research on the fungus gnats, if you will. And they come out because we've had so much rain in this area. Flooding in January, unseasonably wet conditions bring out the bugs. Pest control officials for Yuma County say that they are supposed to only last about another week. This was back in end of March. This statement was made because the dry climate of the desert, they're just too fragile. They can't take the heat. So we still have them, but they should be gone soon. Right about when we leave, they'll probably leave.
Now that's a bridge that you can see. That is the western exit from the track, and it's underwater.
When I got here, Mike, I thought everybody was really friendly. I said, man, and everybody knows me. They're all waving at me. They were waving at the bugs.
They were swatting bugs.
Well, kind of like all of us. The bugs will be gone by Monday.
But these guys, they run tear-offs, and normally NASCAR, to keep more bodies off of pit road, it's normally about a third to halfway through the race. They'll give the teams the extra man to service the driver, pull the tear-off. This was one of those races. They gave them the extra man from the green flag of the race.
So we'll restart with Jimmie Johnson again outside Montoya, Kenseth and Kyle Busch, Boyer and Edwards, Hornish and Harvick, Logano and Newman, the top 10. No one to get rid of those pesky bugs?
I bet you a little Saturday night crank it up.
So it's goodbye sunshine in Phoenix with 171 laps to go. And Jimmie Johnson once again out in front of Juan Pablo Montoya by 0.4 of a second. NASCAR did a recheck of the video as far as the first car 1 lap down. Regan Smith was the car that got the free pass. Paul Menard remains 1 lap down.
Mike, what tells me this track is cooling down and gaining grip. Kyle Busch in the 18 and Clint Boyer in the 33, running 3rd and 5th respectively, just turned the fastest laps that they've run in this race.
Yeah, I think the guy that you're going to have to deal with is this guy right here. He is coming to the front, and he is coming in a hurry. He's closing down on Montoya in the 42 there, and Jimmie Johnson not too far away.
Next week, NASCAR on Fox in Texas at a special time, 2 p.m. Eastern, for the Sprint Cup Series race.
She may not be the biggest, but she is the fastest.
Oh, yeah. I love it. You put your work clothes on when you go to Texas. That's big boy racing down there.
First trip to Texas with the new spoiler on the back of the car, and that'll be the biggest track where we've run the new rear spoiler.
I know we got 169 laps to go, but the recovery of the race so far has been that 1 car of Jamie McMurray. They have been to pit road 24 times adjusting the toe out, and here he's battling Mark Martin up there for the 13th. And remember, he was one of those cautions back on lap 23.
Watch the 1 car as we replay it for you. Got a little boot from Clint Boyer as he was trying to give Kevin Harvick room.
And he didn't hit anything, but I think because of the way the car spun, it really threw the toe out on those front tires, and that's what they've been adjusting every single caution, every single pit stop.
He's now 14th behind Mark Martin, and right with him is the 43 of A.J. Allmendinger, who started this race from the pole.
And the 43 car faded badly there for a while, but now that the sun's gone down, he's starting to march back toward the front a little bit. So I don't think the 43 is totally out of it yet. Whoa, Mark Martin just got that thing, just took off with him. He hit one of those slick spots over there. The front end dips, and away she goes.
He did a whoa, Daddy.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart, we heard that he was not very happy with his car on those last adjustments that Darian Grubb and that group made. Now he's fighting his way back into the top 15 in that 14 car.
He still lacks about 0.3 of a second of the quickest cars. And I've been watching Greg Biffle here on the outside of Martin Truex. Now Biffle gets in line. They're in 19th place, and that car just has not come to them, not yet.
And it really surprised me. I thought Greg would be really tough here tonight. He's been on a pretty good roll. He's the only guy that's had top 10 finishes in all our first 6 races. He's got a little work to do if he's going to do that tonight.
But you know, I talked about the 1 car McMurray and the recovery they've made, but how about Martin Truex Jr. in that 56 car just in front of this group? Remember, he pitted too soon on the first caution, had to go to the tail end of the field, and then had to make an unscheduled green flag pit stop on lap 77, and now he's well up in the top 20 in that 56.
Truex running in 18th.
Still too loose, Pat. We'll get that track bar down some more.
Everybody's still looking for adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Edwards, Joey Logano, 7th and 8th, running about 5 seconds off the lead, and their lap time's about 0.3 slower than race leader Jimmie Johnson and Juan Pablo Montoya. .163 laps to go in Phoenix. Jimmie Johnson has been out in front for 65 laps in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox. Like a jewel in the desert night sky, Phoenix International Raceway has Jimmie Johnson out in front of Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya's led the most laps tonight in our Subway race summary. 6 cautions for 44 laps. The big one was a 3-car pileup at lap 15. Kurt Busch got into Casey Kane. And Denny Hamlin was also involved. In the garage area, just Michael McDowell and Dave Blaney. There are 5 cars more than 10 laps down on the racetrack, but there are 26 cars on the lead lap. And one of those, Ryan Newman, who's now in 9th place, just had quite a moment with the 77 of Sam Hornish.
He just used him up. He just gets into him right here. Lucky it didn't cut Sam's left rear tire down. You can see how close the splitter came to that left rear. He just pushed Sam out of the way.
He got on him and wouldn't get off, would he?
Sam, I am coming through.
And Gordon says, I think I'll just come right on through, too.
But Sam was after him down getting into 3, but didn't quite get there.
So Newman is now 9th with Hornish 10th and Jeff Gordon 11th. Jimmie Johnson 1.1 seconds ahead of Juan Montoya, as the track seems to have come to the 48. That's no big surprise.
Last 2 adjustments certainly have helped, but I don't know if it's the best way to go about it. I don't feel much faster. Obviously, it's driving good. But it's not like I picked up a bunch of speed and the car's hooking to center better.
Well, let me see. Let me check off a couple of things here. The spoiler on the 48 could be messing it up. I can check that off. That's not possible. Qualified poorly, must be experimenting. Check that off. That's not possible. 48 leading the race. Back to normal.
That's very possible.
That's possible.
Earlier, we saw drivers removing their own windshield tear-offs. We saw Carl Edwards with sunglasses. We saw him without. I wonder where they went. It's not like you've got a center console in that car to put them in.
Bud, be aware, your glasses may still be in the cockpit.
Yeah, they may be. I'm pretty sure I got them out of the window.
They're not on pit road here. Doug's saying his huge belly pushed them back into the window.
Well, I think I felt them here on the floorboard, so hopefully they don't get stuck under any pedals. I think I kicked them back here. I'm sure they'll be melted up nice.
You know, Larry, I'm just not real sure that there's a lot going on when you got to worry about where your sunglasses are.
It means you must be fairly happy with your race car.
If your crew chief is worried about what you did with them, maybe he was going to give them to him after the race.
Those were the best sunglasses in the world. Free ones. 11th place, Marcus Ambrose trying to take it away from Sam Hornish, and Jamie Mack coming back in that #1 car.
And then you see our pole sitter, A.J. Allmendinger, in that 43, back inside the top 15, right behind McMurray in the 1.
I knew it would be a stretch tonight to think that Allmendinger might be able to win this race, but they're having a great weekend. He wins the pole, fell off the map there a little while, but he is fighting his way back in here. That's got a good top 10 written all over it.
You know, we had him on our trackside show on speed last night, and you know, he talked about it. Had probably one of the fastest cars in the Daytona 500, got caught up in a little bit of a wreck, and they kind of struggled since they left Daytona back in February.
Looks like Sam Hornish has just not been able to find a place to run on the bottom, and now it's Ambrose in the 47 who's trying to take advantage.
And that's the way those two cars started to race side by side back on the second row in 3rd and 4th.
But you see what a run you get off of the turn. When you run that high line, makes the straightaway a little longer. You pick up a little speed. You lose a little time through the middle, but that's still not a bad groove to run in.
Jimmie Johnson beginning to catch some lap traffic. Now the gap between he and Montoya is pretty constant at about 1.1 seconds. How about the second place car, Steve?
Mike, early in this run, Juan Pablo said the car simply too tight. Crew Chief Brian Patty said, let the air pressures come up. Just moments ago, Juan Pablo said the same thing. Still too tight.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of that is because of how this racetrack is changing. You're going to have to start freeing that car up, because when you turn the wheel and it's tight, the front wheels don't respond and don't turn. It's Tony Glover and Brian Patty.
A couple of drivers told me at race last night, if you were loose when the race started, you stayed loose. If you were too tight when the race started, you stayed too tight. The track didn't ever really, it picked up grip, but the problem with the car
didn't change the balance.
Right.
Jeff Gordon is running in 10th. There you see Gordon down the backstretch, but look right behind him. There is a pack closing right up on the back bumper of the 24. What's up, Matt?
Gordon is concerned about the handling of the 24. He says the car, we are just terrible loose on entry into turn 1. He says entry and exit, it is just awful loose. We've got to make a big change, and a big change has to come on that next stop.
And when you're loose getting in with the speeds that you're running here, it kills the entire corner, middle and exit.
You know, you can always take a little rear brake off the car with the brake bias adjustment. I'm sure they know that, and I'm sure he may have done that. But if you're loose in, sometimes you can back a little of that rear brake out and really help the car.
Dick Berggren, how about the 43?
Well, they've struggled all night long with the handling of that car, Mike. Right now it's a little bit tight, but they're getting better and better as the night has worn on. They're doing it by watching what happens with tire pressure buildup and tire temperature and that sort of thing. And Mike Shiplett, the crew chief, has done a really nice job of dialing that car in and getting it to where Allmendinger really likes it. I think he's going to go forward as the night goes on. They are making progress for sure.
Well, there's one thing about it. He has been committed to that yellow line in the bottom of this racetrack from the get-go. He has not ventured off of that at all.
Darrell, if the handling's off and the car's pushing, it's tight, it doesn't want to turn like Allmendinger's, is that an easier car for the driver to work with or adjust to than a car that's loose that wants to spin out every time you go into the corner?
Oh, by far, a car that's a little bit tight, you can work the throttle and make the car turn. If a car is loose, it's unpredictable. You go in the corner one time and it gets in there nice, the next time you go in, the back end comes around. It's hard to be aggressive with a loose car. Much more easier to drive a tight car.
.142 laps to go in Phoenix, and who have you got to beat? Jimmie Johnson.
It's going to take brains and brawn to finish up front.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by AT&T, a better 3G experience, by Cobalt Tools, Cobalt, the next generation of tough tools, and by Chevy. Every model is backed by a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
We've been green for the last 39 laps. There's 135 to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 kilometers. At Phoenix International Raceway, Jimmie Johnson leading Juan Montoya by 1 second. Montoya is about a 1/10 of a second quicker on the racetrack right now. Sun has dipped behind the Estrella Mountains. The lights are up, and the duel in the desert has 134 laps to go.
Larry, those old crew chiefs down there, they're scrambling right now. Looking at all those notes, looking at all those trends, and we're getting into that no man's land here before long, those final 65 laps that we haven't had here before. That's going to make an interesting finish.
Well, we're down to what would be a 2-stop race should we stay green.
Riding with Martin Truex, Sam Hornish has slipped back to about 12th place here, where he now battles Jamie Mack. And McMurray may get the spot here, going off into the corner with a much lower arc than Hornish. Truex, Allmendinger looking on. Whoa, Jamie.
Tight little battle right here. These guys have been going at it for quite some time. Somebody's going to run out of patience here for long.
Yeah, all of those cars are lead lap cars.
The 43 has been trying to get by this group. He caught them, but he hadn't been able to clear them.
It's been 53 laps since these cars were last on pit road.
Yeah, we're at lap 244, so we're probably looking at about 15 to 20 laps before we'll get into green flag stops.
Looked like AJ did the 43 cleared that time. He'll go off and lead these guys now. He's been really, really nice to Sam Hornish. He didn't lean on him, and he could have.
Behind them, it's been a frustrating night for Tony Stewart, who started 11th and now finds himself, Steve, in 18th.
Mike, he started off loose, then he got tight. Just recently, he told Darian Grubb, I don't know what to do different. I've tried every line out here, adjusted brakes in and out, front to back. If you have any suggestions, just chime right in.
And you know, some of the racetracks that Tony normally runs so good at, that's where they've bobbled this year. Go back to Martinsville a couple of weeks ago, finished 26. I don't even think he could hardly run in the top 20 on that, during that 500 laps, and here he is just struggling here at Phoenix tonight, a track that's been normally good to it.
One thing I've noticed, Larry, is they just start making a lot of changes as soon as the race starts. He starts complaining about the car, and they start changing. I think they get themselves out to lunch sometime.
Close call for Carl Edwards there, up against the 34 there. Oh my gosh. Travis Quapple. Carl had to back out of it and give way to Ryan Newman. There is quite a speed differential between some of the lead lap cars and some of the other cars here.
And as we get on older tires, it's going to be a huge difference. I want to make a note. We just saw Jeff Burton a second ago in the 31 car. He is now a lap down back in 27th. The problem on his last pit stop at lap 190, he was pitting outside the box and put him a lap down. So he's running with those lead lap cars, but he is a lap down. The good news, if we get a caution, he's the first car a lap down.
Yeah, I saw the NASCAR official standing in front of his car, which will really aggravate a driver. I'd never want to be the official holding Jeff a lap for that penalty.
Good run for Robbie Gordon in the 7 as you saw him complete the pass on Sam Hornish. Robbie 16th. There is Burton, 1 lap down, running behind Tony Stewart. And Robbie Gordon's pulling away from Hornish.
Got to be pretty impressed with Robbie tonight, Larry. This is as good a run as he's had in that car. I can't remember the last time he ran this well, this late into a race.
But whether he ends up running 16th or 26th or 6th, Robbie Gordon needs to run to the checkered flag without an issue.
Car's clean.
Juan Montoya had really eaten into Jimmie Johnson's lead. Then he had to get past Kurt Busch, who is 10 laps down after crash damage. Up until that point, Montoya had closed within 0.7 of a second of the leader.
I believe that Jimmie Johnson might be mirror driving.
Just maintaining
maybe
a cautious interval.
Just maybe.
Well, Jeff Hammond, we've got 2 pit stops to go. What can you do to get these cars better?
Well, Mike, what we're hoping for is some of the things that Daryl and Mike you guys have been talking about all night long. Number 1 has to be adjusting the brakes. Daryl was talking about you can dial some of the front brake in these cars to try to make them feel a little bit better on entry of the corner. That's something that the driver can do from inside the cockpit. Now, for the teams, you're running out of time. You talked about the extra laps here at Phoenix tonight, but those laps are winding down. So if you're going to make adjustments with spring rubbers, whether they're going in or they're coming out, you've got to get it done, preferably on this next time in, and hopefully it won't be a green flag stop. So you can get maybe a track bar adjustment, or you jump back up here, crank a little bit more wedge into her, whatever you need to make this car finally get the grip that the driver's desiring, whether it's getting in or whether it's getting off. A lot of times it's the fact the laps are running out. It's the crucial thing. The guys can get it right, but they're running out of time to get it that way.
Of course, in a perfect world, you want to make an adjustment that's going to do the least to slow your pit stop down.
And you know the number 1 question right now down there in the pits? What's Chad going to do?
Meaning Chad Canals.
Chad Canals. Wonder what Chad's going to do.
He's the crew chief on that car, the Lowe's Chevrolet that leads this race. Lowe's just announced that they are going to be the sponsor of the fall race here at Phoenix. And Jimmie Johnson has opened it up on Juan Montoya to 1.5 seconds. 121 laps. That means 2 more pit stops in the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox. $118 laps to go in Phoenix. We're under caution for David Rudiman. Watch what happens to David as he goes off into turn number 3.
I mean, it just looks like almost like he had no brakes, but I'm not sure what happened to that car, but it just took off getting in that corner. Maybe he had too much rear brake.
The tires were up. He did not have a flat. So pit road opened. Jimmie Johnson led them down pit road. and got 4 tires, Sunoco race gas, and a slight adjustment there to the right rear.
Not a lot. Didn't really slow that stop down. And you can see the other cars are just now getting to their pit boxes because of where the 48's pitting.
Now all 3 of the cars on the screen get the same adjustment with the wrench in the back window.
48 has already gone and headed down pit road.
It's a long pit road here in Phoenix. Little traffic jam there with Harvick and Kenseth and Joey Logano.
But now the real winner on that pit stop right there was the 33 car, that Shane Wilson group with Clint Boyer. Their pit stop was a 1.5 seconds faster than the 42 cars pit stop.
Yeah, anytime you see something in the high 14s, 15s like you saw on those other 2 cars, that's not a very good stop.
So Boyer gains 1 spot. Martin Truex picks up 3 in the race off pit road. Regan Smith gets the free pass. So we'll have 26 lead lap cars when we go back to green.
And the boys on the 1 just keep working. Now they've got damage on the left front that they're having to go to work on. And they had worked and clawed their way almost to the top 10, but with about 26 cars on the lead lap, they're going to be way back.
When I look at the Rudeman wreck, you know, we were talking about rear brake. Put a little more rear brake in the car to make it turn better getting in the corner. That looks like he may have, to me, overdone it with the rear brake, and that's what got him in trouble getting in that corner.
So look at David waiting for repair to be completed. They'll try to piece that right rear quarter back together. With the new spoiler in the rear, it's a little different when you hit the wall with the back of the car.
Yeah, it is, because the spoiler hangs over the quarter panel. You can see how far over the edge of the quarter panel right there it is. So when you hit the wall now, you do a lot of damage to the rear of the car because of the way the spoiler hangs over the edge of the quarter panel.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening right now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. There are the number of eyeballs watching NASCAR on Fox. And the number glued to NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile, where you'll find more NASCAR stats and live race radio. Jimmie Johnson, currently the point standing leader by 51 over Matt Kenseth the way they run right now. For more, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed.
I like the rear spoiler. I'm glad we have it. That's not a complaint about the rear spoiler. That's just an observation that when the car hits the wall, it looks like it's doing a little more damage, tweaking the rear of the car around because of that spoiler is strong, man.
Look at our points right now. As of now, we got 2 of the Childress cars there and 2 of the Roush Fenway cars in the top 5.
Getting ready to go green in what is now a 1 pit stop race with 115 laps to go. Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch on the front row, green flag. And here comes Montoya right after the 2nd spot.
Boy, Kyle Busch in the 18. Look at the run he got on the bottom. He's going to take the lead.
You're clear. The 48 just couldn't get going that time, Larry. He got stuck out there and couldn't get back to the gas.
Kyle Busch decided it was go time, and nobody has been better at launching off turn 2 this whole weekend than Kyle Busch. Now here comes Jimmie back on the outside for 2nd.
And Montoya really did a smart thing right there, Mike. He gave the 48 room coming off turn 4. Didn't crowd him, gave him room.
Oh.
And now he might not give him so much room.
That was contact.
While that's going on, you see those 2 Childress cars, Harvick in the 29, Boyer in the 33.
Sounds like Jimmie got loose, but this is when Montoya's really got to suck it up and give a little right here. Still got a long way to go. Don't make a mistake here and take yourself out of the race.
You can't win the race right here, but you sure could lose it.
Well, while that's going on, that little yellow 18 car, he just runs his fastest lap of the race on lap 263 leading this race.
You can see where that
Yeah, all the letters have been rubbed off the left rear on Johnson's tire.
I don't think this little duel is over with yet, and Jimmie is loose.
And I think Montoya knows it, and that's the reason he keeps sticking that nose, taking that rear downforce away, making him looser.
The other thing he knows is Kyle Busch is getting away.
If Jimmie's a little bit loose on the restart on new tires, that'll get better. So got to hang in there, like the crew chief always says. Hang on to it, it'll come to you, and it will.
But you know, Mike, you mentioned that we're down to a one-stop race. If we were still at the 312 lap type race, we would be done as far as, unless a caution came out, but this makes it one more pit stop.
How about Mark Martin, Krista?
Well, Mark had been struggling, but on that last run, he said his car was loose to start, but at the end of the run, it was the best it had been all day. So keep your eye on Mark Martin. This might be, the nighttime might be the right time for the 5.
I think you're definitely right, Krista. I've been watching Mark. He was dog meat when the sun was out, but when the sun went down, he's a hound dog now.
And I just think that's where that experience paid off. You go back, he won this race a year ago, and he knew what you needed to be, what the car needed to feel like in the heat of the day to be right at night.
Jeff Gordon, Joey Logano side by side right there. And that's a battle for 8th place.
Plus, guys like Mark with all that experience, they don't panic. Just wait. Keep waiting, and it'll come to you.
Matt, how about Jeff Gordon?
Mike, knowing they've only got one more scheduled stop here for the 24, they took a big swing. The most adjustments they've made all night on one stop. Track bar, wedge, air pressure. And then on top of that, you've got the coach on top of the box, Steve Letarte, coaching on Gordon. Just be patient. It will come back to us.
You see the 20 and the 24 running the yellow line, and cousin Carl Edwards in the 99 all the way at the top of the racetrack.
Carl likes that dirt track. He likes to get up on that cushion. He's been up there all night.
Dick has more on the 99.
Well, the car, Mike, before that last round of pit stops was handling incredibly badly for Carl Edwards. He was tight in the middle, loose off, and shattering the tires as well. So the hope is that what they have just done is going to work on a long run, because it was at the end of the long run that Carl Edwards had problems last time around.
You know, Doc, I think he was worried about his sunglasses. He just did not know where they were, and that was distracting him.
Finally got that out of his system.
But now he knows he's got them all. He's got to handle them.
You know, I mentioned Kyle Busch in the 18 car just a few laps ago ran his fastest lap. Those two Childress cars of Boyer and Harvick, they just ran their fastest lap a couple of laps ago.
I kind of lost in the midst of this mix after also not running well through most of the daylight hours. Ryan Newman's in 6th place, and Steve, that's quite a resurgence.
Absolutely it is. Tony Gibson has made all the right calls early in this race. Ryan Newman said he felt like he was on top of the track. Then he said he was tight, but on the last stop, they just made a small wedge adjustment. Definitely going in the right direction, Mike.
And Mike Larry, that's a tale of two teams. Last year, the 14 team with Tony Stewart, they had the best car week in, week out. Now, 39 struggled a little bit. Think back to Martinsville. The 39 had a great run at Martinsville. Here he is again tonight, having a great run here again tonight. It's almost like they flipped the switch from one team to the other.
Yeah, his teammate Tony Stewart right now in the 14's back in 19th position.
Jimmie Johnson's led over 100 laps. He now runs 2nd to Kyle Busch. The last 2 times Jimmie led over 100 laps and did not win, one of those Gibbs Toyotas did.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Big racing fan? Get Verizon Championship Racing for race highlights, behind the scenes, and exclusive interviews right on your VCast phone from the network with the most 3G coverage. Verizon.
1988 was the first Winston Cup race at Phoenix, and the first win for Wisconsin's Alan Kulwicki, who wanted to do something special to celebrate it and salute the fans by driving a lap in the wrong direction so that he, with the window net down, he could wave out the window and salute the fans that had supported him. And gosh, he is missed.
Yeah, went on 4 years later to win the Winston Cup championship in 1992.
And I think
here's a Wisconsin driver right here, Matt Kenseth, who's trying to get to the front as he passes Jeff Gordon for 7th place.
Larry, when you saying, and we thought about this and sort of ran it through our memory bank, that may have been the first time that someone did something different
than just driving the victory lane.
Drive the victory circle.
Exactly. That I could remember.
Roger.
Now we have burnouts and burn-ups and blow-ups and backward laps and backflips and snow angels and you name it.
Tell you what, these two guys here, though, they've been racing with each other a lot tonight. Jeff Gordon in the 24, Matt Kenseth in the 17. Right now, that's a battle for the 7th position, but they've been together a lot.
Matt Kenseth's kind of like Clint Eastwood. Jeff Gordon looks in his mirror and he says, wonder how many times he's fired and if he's got anything left.
Has he fired 5 times?
5 times
Has
or
he
6?
Fired 6.
They're keeping awful close company for two fellas that battled so close for the win at Martinsville just 2 weeks ago.
I think there's a method to Matt's madness, to tell you the truth. Don't think that's by accidental.
So Kyle Busch has only been out in front for 21 circuits. Jimmie Johnson 0.7 of a second back. Boy, Busch made a nifty move on the restart to get the lead. And here's Montoya, who has led almost the most laps tonight. He's led 104.
Well, Montoya's doing something that I wondered when somebody was going to do it. He's starting to move around a little bit on the racetrack. He ran the high line in 3 and 4 that time. Looked like he gained a little bit on Jimmie Johnson. And I think that's what you're going to have to do. You can't sit here much longer and not try to do something to catch up with these other two guys.
Now, Clint Boyer in 4th has been the best of the Childress cars, but Krista, Kevin Harvick has been no slouch, and now he's in the top 5.
And Kevin Harvick may have rallied his troops back on lap 132. It was a green flag stop. It was a bad stop for the team. But since then, the car really came around. They hadn't made adjustments the last 2 stops. In fact, the comment was made that Happy was very happy. Well, until this run, the car just now starting to get a little bit tight.
Well, and honestly, I think we have completed the final transition to this racetrack. We are in darkness, and as we documented, maybe only one more swing at it as far as adjustments.
And I think the other thing, Larry, I'm not sure as we look down ahead up here to our leader, Kyle Busch, I'm not sure that 48 car isn't better the longer it runs. And the 18 car looks like it might fall off just a little bit. And that could be the difference here at the end of the race.
So we saw Newman 6th, Gordon 7th, and Kenseth 8th. Boy, Joey Logano, I think, just continues to impress with the maturity this young fella has shown, considering he's just barely 1 year into his Sprint Cup career.
Yeah, he's still a few months away from turning 20.
Carl Edwards has been a top 10. A lot of folks wondering when he'll visit victory lane. Boy, it's been a while.
He won 9 races in 2008 and winless since. No wins in 2009.
Marcus Ambrose started 4th. High hopes for him tonight. He's running better than he was in the middle portion of this race, as is Mark Martin. The car came to him. Started 23rd. He's up to 12th.
Talked about Martin Truex Jr. a couple of times in that 56 car. He's overcome a lot. All of his problems were early in the race, and he's sitting there in the 13th position.
It won't be a win for pole sitter A.J. Allmendinger, but he looks like he's going to bring the Valvoline Ford home with a lead lap finish, quite possibly a top 15. And Robbie Gordon, what a great shot in the arm for this team, because Robbie's had nothing but bad luck this year.
And you know, honestly, even though we look at top 5s and top 10s, if you can finish in the top 15 in a Sprint Cup Series race, you've had a good night with the way the competition is.
After getting the free pass at lap 136, David Reagan's car woke up. He's in the top 20. Dale Jr. qualified 5th and had high hopes, but the car started chattering on him. They had a broken splitter brace that gave them some grief, and now they find themselves in 18th.
Yeah, I think that broken splitter brace, I think it sent that team in the wrong direction. I think they started making adjustments and pit stops trying to fix something before they actually figured out what it was.
Tony Stewart, we told you, as we transitioned to dust, they took a big swing at the car in the wrong direction. Smoke is 19th. And Scott Speed started outside pole, went backwards, needed the free pass to get back on the lead lap, and now he's pretty solid 20th. Denny Hamlin trying to get alongside. Hamlin's 2 laps down when they changed the battery and the car stalled at the end of pit road and needed a push.
But you know what? My hat's off to Denny Hamlin, Larry. He has toughed it out. It wasn't his fault that they got in a wreck down there, and it wasn't his fault the battery went dead and they had to change that all out. I think he'd have been all right if those things hadn't happened. but he's gutting it out, and I'm proud of him for it.
Greg Biffle doing yeoman's work, having a tough night. In 3M Ford, he is 21st, hanging on to the lead lap, as is Brad Keselowski. But in Keselowski's case, it's because of crash damage that he sustained, and so did David Rudiman a little later.
Yeah, they've kept that car on the lead lap because remember, our last caution back on lap 256 was because of this 00 car. So they're still hanging in there in the 23rd position on the lead lap.
The guy that he's racing with, though, is Larry. We have got to say something about Scott Riggs. Man, I mean, that 90 car, they came to race tonight, and he is up there in the 24th position and doing a whale of a job in that automobile.
Yeah, I mean, they've only qualified for one other race back at Bristol.
And that was with Casey Mears, who tonight is standing by in case Hamlin needs relief.
And he's outrunning some pretty darn good race cars right now.
The fishing hasn't been too good for Jamie McMurray tonight. They've spent a whole lot of time on pit road trying to realign and rebuild that car after crash damage back up at lap 24, but he's gotten back on the lead lap and hung on there. And Regan Smith, that independent team based out of Denver, Colorado, has hung on to the lead lap. He's had the free pass twice, but remains running on the lead lap in 26th position, about 23 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, we still have 39 cars out on the racetracks. Only cars out: Max Pappas, Johnny Sauter, Dave Blaney, and Michael McDowell.
Thought that 48 car was catching the 18, but steady as he goes.
Can Kyle Busch hang on and win 2 nights in a row in Phoenix?
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Welcome back live to the Subway Fresh Fit 600. 74 laps to go just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Day has turned tonight here as you get a look at the leaderboard so far. Kyle Busch in front of Jimmie Johnson and Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya 104 laps led, Jimmie Johnson 113, but Kyle Busch the leader. We've had 12 leaders in this race, and 13 is a track record. It's really been a 3-act play, Jeff Hammond, with Juan Pablo Montoya leading much of the race early, and then Jimmie Johnson dominating the middle. Will Kyle Busch get his first win of the year and finish things up? We're coming up on possible green flag pit stops and maybe the last stop of the night.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have some strategy start to play out here. We see the fact the 18 car is leading right now. He's got about a little over a second lead on the 48 car, and so there's a decision need to be made. Normally the leader would like to see everybody else pit behind him, so if the caution comes out, he's got everybody a lap down. But here at Phoenix, the big difference in the disparity and the speed as far as new tires are concerned, if I'm Juan Pablo Montoya or Clint Boyer or even Ryan Newman, if I want to gain some ground on some leaders and maybe have an opportunity to catch them with a good solid pit stop, you need to come early. That pit window should open up around 3:31 to 3:41, so somewhere in there we're going to see a lot of guys start making decisions. And the key thing is it's an opportunity for these crews to shine. You do a really good job getting on off pit road, you could possibly pick up a lot of valuable time on the leader.
And of course, Kyle Busch, remember the treacherous restarts on this track, what he learned Saturday night as well. And the leader, by the way, with 10 to go, 10 laps to, has lost 4 of the 6 races so far. And we thank you for getting involved in the AT&T fastest pit crew. Texting to 2258 as you see Jimmie Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Juan Pablo Montoya. Jeff ranking the pit crew's work so far, and they'll be on the spot coming up.
They're definitely going to be on the spot right now where they can perform, because Jimmie Johnson's guys have been up toward the top along with the 42 all night long. And now it's showtime and pressure time.
Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. The last time a driver won the nationwide race and the Sprint Cup race in the same weekend was Kyle Busch back at Richmond in the May of 2009. That was the only such sweep in the whole 2009 season. Last night, we saw quite a bit of the wild thing, because on one restart, Kyle was the leader. Brad Keselowski got a good jump from alongside. NASCAR said Brad went on the flag. That was fair. Keselowski went off in the lead. Next restart, it kind of went the other way, and it went against Kyle Busch. Let's show you what happened here last night. Now the cars are side by side, and in this case the leader is Kyle Busch. There is the restart line, and the rule says if you don't go by the restart line, the flagman starts the race. So Kyle in the orange car kind of giving it a Texas-style restart, but NASCAR said that was fair. Keselowski went on the flag. This time, Keselowski's the leader. Same situation right there at the line. Kyle Busch jumps out. However, the starter had not yet waved the flag. You see, there's the line. Kyle goes, then the flag comes up. Kyle Busch got a penalty. He was very vocal and unhappy about it. It fired him up. And Wild Thing drove it all the way to victory lane.
It was one of the most exciting endings to a race I think I've seen. Well, Martinsville, I'll take that back. A lot like Martinsville. He restarted in 10th place and was able to make it to the front and win that race in like 5 laps. Unbelievable.
But you know, that's one side of Kyle Busch. The other side of Kyle Busch is Kyle actually has approximately about 85 children here tonight from the Sunshine Acres home in nearby Mesa, Arizona. They're here courtesy of actually the racetrack and the Kyle Busch Foundation. Watched him win last night, hoping to see him win tonight.
He's just a fierce competitor. He just wants to win, that's all. And when he doesn't, he's not a happy camper.
Kyle Busch out in front of Jimmie Johnson by a 1.5 seconds, with Montoya 3rd, Bowyer 4th, and Ryan Newman now in the 5th spot. Caution's out for the 8th time tonight. Travis Quapple looks like he lost an engine and he has coasted into the garage area. Jamie McMurray will get the free pass.
Here he comes, going down into turn 1, and you can see the thing just detonated.
Now that has implication with our top 35 owners, that those cars exempt from having to qualify into the show next week.
Yeah, that car was 35th in owner points. Robbie Gordon is 36. That would be a car that wish we were still just running 312 laps, because we're only 3 laps past that mark.
What Robbie Gordon's got to do is be sure and get his car home to the finish running in the 15th spot right now.
So Robbie Gordon could move above that red line, and that means he'd be guaranteed in when we go to Texas next weekend. We'll see. Pit road will be open. There's a whole bunch of speedy dry there as they come past the commit cone and come in. Here's Krista.
Mike, Jimmie Johnson's car is not where he needs it to be. Chad said, are you okay in the center? Because that's where we made the adjustment last time. Jimmie said, yes, I'm too loose off to do what I want to do. Steve.
Well, Krista, interesting. Clint Bowyer in the 33, Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42. They both are experiencing the same issue, and they're both going to fix it the same way. They've gotten loose. Chassis adjustments and air out of the rear. Dick Berggren.
Kyle Busch stopped a little far in his pit box, but not a huge problem. They have not had to make any major adjustments to this car all night long. Busch now with 4 fresh tires and fuel and gone.
There's some serious racing going on pit road.
I'm going to tell you what, though, Steve Letarte, that 24 car, those guys were the real winner on that pit stop. They had an awesome stop.
Everybody was pretty well casting everything to the wind, though, on those pit stops. They were fighting like crazy to get out of the pit boxes down there, tight as they exited.
Let's go to Jeff Gordon's pit and Matt.
High fives all around by this crew. Great stop by the 24 guys. Jeff saw a lot of improvement, Mike, on that last run. A good shot from above of the 24 guys going to work. The same adjustments on the last stop. Wedge, track bar, and air pressure. And Jeff said his comment as he was leaving, that's what I'm talking about. Great stop, guys.
Actually, as far as pit stop time, it pretty much mirrored our leader Kyle Busch's pit stop.
Jeff Gordon was a coulda, woulda, shoulda last week in Martinsville. Took him 17 attempts to win here. Same at Texas. Folks, we've still got a lot of racing to go. Tighten your seatbelts. 58 laps left.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is delivered by UPS. Log on to ups.com/racing to enter the UPS $100,000 Trackside Challenge.
If you like that scooter, you could win it and other cool prizes, including a VIP race weekend. Log on to ups.com/racing. Enter for your chance to win. We're on 1 to go. And we'll get the restart with 54 laps left in this race. And a couple of cars. Elliott Sadler took the wave around. Looks like the other driver who did is Bobby Labonte.
I think we're going to have an exciting restart here.
I was just thinking the same thing. This is when they tend to put both hands and feet up on the wheel. Now, everyone can make it to the end of the race as far as Sunoco race fuel.
Oh, it's crunch time now. 54 to go. Rick Hendrick's cars have won the last 6 races here. 1 win for Jeff Gordon, 1 for Mark Martin, 4 for Jimmie Johnson, who lines up next to Kyle Busch on the front row.
And we saw what Kyle Busch did last night on the restart when he was the leader of the race. He needs to learn from that mistake he made last night, and I think he probably has.
Probably won't hang back. Here we go. Green flag.
3 wide.
Montoya to the bottom. There's not room for that. Well, maybe there is.
They'll make room.
It won't over there on the exit of turn 2. You got to be down to 2 wide over there. That's still treacherous.
That was tense.
Montoya knows he's got to go right now, and he lost a couple of spots on that restart. He's not happy about that.
That was a bold move, Darrell, down in turn 1.
Yes, it was. He made a little contact there with the Newman car 39. Newman fighting back on the outside right there. That's tight off 2.
Just enough room.
Boy.
5th place, side by side. Montoya Newman. Here comes Kenseth to be a part of that battle.
Oh yeah, here's the battle right here for the lead. Chad got that magic wand out, Larry.
He got a heck of a run off turn 4 on the high side. Really good through the middle of the corner now, but Kyle Busch in the 18 gets off turn 2 good.
Meanwhile, 5th place still side by side, and now it's 3 cars under a blanket when you add in Kenseth, and Harvick's coming.
Kenseth wants to go, but he's got nowhere to go.
Like you said, Mike, with that going on, that's pulled Kevin Harvick in that 29 into the mix.
3rd place.
And now Boyer is underneath of Gordon down here at 1 and 2.
They all but lose it and both slide up the hill.
It's tough sledding when you get down under somebody like that. Something's got to give. Might give right here.
Comers and goers, givers and takers. Here comes Gordon trying to hang to that 3rd spot. But Boyer is right there, not willing to give up that battle while he has the inside. Boyer inches ahead. Gordon fights back.
That's Mike Dillon telling Boyer, come on now. Well, I'm sure Boyer's saying, I'm doing all I can do, dude.
Come on now, still there.
Not anymore.
Gonna have to get in line. Gonna have to try him on the outside.
All right, Jeff Gordon prevails in that battle for 3rd place. Matt Yoakum's in Gordon's pit.
Big adjustments the last 2 stops, a big improvement in the race car. Stevie, the amount of improvement you saw on the last run, you made the adjustments. Will it be enough to get you up to the top 2 cars during this run?
Well, we hope so. You know, the DuPont Chevrolet's been a work in progress really all weekend long. We're pretty far outside of our box, outside of our comfort zone, but the guys prepared to get a car to come here. The pit crew struggled a little bit through the middle of the race, but they redeemed themselves right there, so hopefully they get some stuff figured out and make a show of it.
Thanks, Steve. Dick Bergeron?
With Dave Rogers, crew chief for Kyle Busch in the number 18. You guys have come close this year so far, haven't closed the deal. What's it going to take tonight to win this thing?
It's going to take the good Lord looking over us. There's a lot of racing left. Jimmie Johnson's been fast all day. I'm real proud of this 18 M&M's crew. They've been working hard. We've had a couple of frustrating weeks. And we seem to have bounced back nicely, but we need to close the deal.
All right, good luck tonight. Thanks, Dave.
We'll beat and banging back here. Harvick, Edwards, 9th place at stake. And Mark Martin with them.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's got his hands full right now with that 29 car. It was not that long ago that he was up there in about the 5th or 6th spot, and now he's back here battling just to hang on to the top 10 back in 9th.
I think the best car in that group is the 5 car. If he can ever get those 2 sorted out a little bit, Mark's pretty fast right now.
You
see Mark roll up to the outside there. He can get by Carl on the outside here. I believe Mark could go forward.
Krista?
Well, a previous run, Mark said he was too loose at the start, but great at the end of the run. The last time he was perfect at the start, but too tight at the end. He said, we've got to get that balance figured out. They made a wedge adjustment. They hope that's the right answer. Alan Gustafson said they had a plan. They were comfortable with the plan. Let's see if the plan works.
Well, unless we get a caution, those words the crew chief utters, you got what you got, buddy.
But I do like a crew chief with a plan.
Nice bounce back for David Reagan. Needed the free pass at lap 136 to get back on the lead lap, but he keeps moving forward. He's at 16th right now.
Tight racing right in there, buddy.
Boy, Robbie Gordon, that 7 car, he was pointed to the infield that time through turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, the handle's gone away there.
There we go, another little
third place.
Battle for third place. It's going to be hard to close the deal right there down on the bottom. Gordon's going to keep that top line occupied. It's going to make it hard to get by.
And if Gordon slips up, he's not just going to lose that spot because Montoya's there and Newman's on the way.
I think Boyer needs to try to get up on that high line and see if he can make that run off of 2 right here and get that good run down the back.
Single file back to 20th place. Remember, the 31 of Jeff Burton is a lap down.
Every time he's the first car lap down, just before caution comes out, the leader laps another car, and he gets the free pass, and Burton does not.
Yeah, that penalty has really killed him tonight.
That won't happen for a while tonight. Most all the field is on the same straightaway. Next Sunday, the wide open spaces of one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. Sprint Cup racing from Texas Motor Speedway on Fox next Sunday.
And remember, that's the last time Jeff Gordon in that 24 group went to victory lane was a year ago at Texas.
Of all places, a place he'd never won. Rick Hendrick, I don't think, was there. His family wasn't there. His wife wasn't there. Nobody was there. He was in Victory Circle all by himself wearing a cowboy hat with 6 shooters.
Oh, they're all stacked up, gunning for Kevin Harvick. Here comes Edwards, and right behind him is Hornish and Allmendinger. They were almost 4 wide going into turn 1. And Hornish's car washes up. The Dinger grabs the spot.
This is when you quit playing nice now. You know, you got to take no prisoners. You got to go, man.
See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car right behind this group. A couple of cautions ago, he was about on the verge of going a lap down. He's clawed his way back up into the top 15, 14th right now.
Which compared to what that car has looked like, 22nd, 24th all night long, that's a pretty nice turnaround for him as well.
They were good on the first run, Darrell, and they haven't been this good since until this run.
I just believe they got confused with that splitter problem, and maybe they've gotten it back.
I'm surprised Harvick has been able to hold on to 10th place because everybody's taken a run and a shot at him in that pack.
Yeah, he has his hands full, but he's fast enough. It's just hard to get by him when you catch him.
As of right now, here's a look at the top 12. And you don't see Kurt Busch, who would drop 7 spots, or Paul Menard, who would drop 4. And both would fall out of the top dozen.
Yeah, and the newcomers to the top 12 would be Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Carl Edwards. Speaking of Carl Edwards, he finally gets by Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. That moves him into the top 10.
Harv gave him a little shot.
Didn't like that. He's going to like this even less. Boy, the 43 almost got into the back of Harvick right there in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, the old Dinger has fought his way back in here too. He's doing some serious closing here at the end of the night.
Well, the last lap, Darrell, he was the 3rd fastest car, slower than Boyer and Montoya that lap, but quicker than anybody else.
Got a good looking car.
.36 laps to go. Who's going to win the Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox?
watching NASCAR on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 600 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Enjoy so many $5 footlong subs all day, every day, only at Subway. By Toyota. By Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
29 laps to go. Here's your Subway race summary. Kyle Busch has led 86 laps. If he leads all the rest, he might lead the most laps tonight. We've had 12 different leaders, one shy of the record. Still 25 cars on the lead lap. The last of those, Scott Riggs. And we've had 8 caution flags tonight.
Those two cars, that's 18 and 48, they kind of trade fast laps. One time Kyle will be a little quicker, next time Jimmie will be a little quicker. But so far, hadn't been able to close the deal here.
It's amazing. It's the tale of two tapes. Last night in the Nationwide race, Kyle Busch had to have a caution late in the race to get in position to win. The last thing he wants to see right now with the laps he's running versus the competitors is a caution. He does not want to see one tonight.
I agree with you, Larry, but unless he had a screwed up restart, I don't think you're going to beat him tonight. That car is bad fast.
Krista?
You know, this car is still not where Jimmie Johnson needs it. In fact, they were even talking what they would do to make it better if they needed to come in and pit again. He's having trouble on the throttle right now. They're saying this is not a winning race car. Chad says just go after him.
That's what I love about a crew chief. You know, you're riding in second place and your car's not very good, and the crew chief says, go after him, get him.
He's quicker by not quite a tenth of a second. Jimmie is quicker than Kyle Busch, the race leader, but
good job, bud.
Jeff Gordon is faster than both of them. Coming out of third place, Gordon is 4 seconds back.
Well, I just know that 48 car, historically, it just keeps getting better and better and better into a run. So we'll see how that works out tonight.
Let's check speeds at the line.
You can see that it's not much, 47 to a 38, but there is a little bit of speed difference.
And that equates to Jimmie Johnson ran a 29.16. Kyle Busch ran a 29.18.
That's what you call nipping away at it.
But you know, when you think about it, when you look at our top two guys right now, that's the two drivers that's won the most races in the last 2 seasons. But even though Kyle Busch won 12 races combined 2008, 2009, it's been a long dry spell. August, Bristol of last year.
Well, this is the best I've seen the 18 car. Dave Rogers and Kyle Busch working together. This is by far and away the best performance I think I've seen out of this car. You know, Larry, he could have run second at Martinsville last week.
You know, the only performance, you know, that's been equal to this was the first race they worked together at Texas in the fall, and they ended up having to pit for fuel late in the race.
Two drivers dropping back just outside the top 10. Kevin Harvick back to 12th, Marcus Ambrose to 14. Two drivers moving up, A.J. Allmendinger to 11th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. up to 13th. Otherwise, not much movement within the top 10. With 23 laps to go, there's the gap, 1.7 seconds. And there's Gordon, 3.7 off the lead. Boyer and Montoya, 5 seconds back. Newman, Logano, Kenseth, Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, your top 10.
Our pole sitter, A.J. Allmendinger, just outside the top 10 in that 43 car right now in 11th.
He's been passing a lot of cars to get there, and like I said, he's done a really nice job. You gotta be, if he can get a top 10, set on pole and get a top 10,
that'd be a great night.
That's a big boost going into Texas next week.
How do you think our rear spoiler has fared now through 2 races, the short track, Martinsville, and now here on the 1 mile at Phoenix?
Well, I know how hard NASCAR worked to match the numbers, the wing to the spoiler, and I think that the teams were well aware of those numbers. They've got the balance pretty much like it was. I think it's tit for tat. You know, I think you could probably stop these cars, take the spoiler off, stick the wing back on it, probably wouldn't know a whole lot of difference.
Now next week we go to Texas, one of the fastest tracks. Are we going to start hearing the dreaded words aero push?
Well, I think that's the unknown. I think that's what everyone is anticipating. We had the big test at Charlotte Motor Speedway a couple of weeks ago. And of course, right after Texas, then we go to a restrictor plate track with the spoiler at Talladega Super Speedway. So next 2 weeks, I think we'll give a lot more answers about this rear spoiler.
4th place. Clint Bowyer trying to hold it. Juan Pablo Montoya has led 104 laps tonight. Trying to climb back up to 4th. How about Bowyer, Steve?
Mike, he just said it's gotten really tight all of a sudden. His spotter, Mike Dillon, said use more brakes and charge the corners.
Well, we've got less than 20 laps to go, and I just don't know about Dillon's advice sometimes.
Use more brakes and charge.
That's his spotter, Mike Dillon.
You got to know Dillon to love that, man.
Mike's a former driver.
That's what he would do.
Well, that's kind of why he's a former driver.
Right.
There you go, nice and smooth.
That's him right there. He's full of good news.
Kyle Busch has led twice as many laps tonight as he has led so far in this entire season coming into Phoenix.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Only one top 10 finish this year. Came in here outside the top 12 in points.
Why do those guys watch me drive by them and like try to come get me?
Because you're Kyle Busch.
Toyota has never gone to victory lane at Phoenix since we started racing here. In 1988, they weren't part of the series then, but they're still looking for their first victory here in the desert.
And his teammate right now, Joey Logano, well inside the top 10, back in 7th position in that 20 car. Joey started 6th. He's pretty much been in the top 10 most of the night.
Tell you, if it stays like this, so Jeff Gordon, if he doesn't run out of laps, looked to me like he was closing on the 48 car a little bit for 2nd place.
He was, Darrell. He and Jimmy right now are just 0.2 quicker than Kyle Busch. Not sure if that's because of traffic for the race leader.
He has a lot of traffic out in front of him with 15 laps to go, talking about Kyle Busch.
So far what I've seen for Kyle is most everybody, just like you're going to see the 83 here, just move up out of the way and give him room because they know he's a leader and they know he's fast.
Well, the good thing is a lot of traffic there, but they're all spread out single file. There's nobody running side by side.
Yeah, most of these cars he's catching, like the 2 car up ahead of his brother, Kurt Busch, he won't give him any trouble. And then ahead of him is the 9 car of Casey Kane. Pretty sure he'll get out of the way.
4th place, Montoya, not willing to hold back. Here he comes into the corner, into and out of 4.
Now that's
on Clint Bowyer.
That's what Dillon was telling Bowyer to do. Drive it on down in there.
And I think the rotors glowing were telling the tale.
Bowyer trying to hold the bottom. And Montoya wants that run off the top of the corner. There's a lapped car ahead. But Montoya clears it.
It's going to prevail that outside line with all that speed.
And we just got the report that the 33 car has gotten too tight. The car's just not turning for him right now with 13 to go.
Montoya right now is doing exactly what he needed to do tonight. He needed a good solid finish, a good points night.
And watching this battle, look at the rotors glow on Robbie Gordon as he nails the brakes to get underneath David Reagan. This is for position on the lead lap. This is for 17.
And that's both 2 drivers and 2 teams that need a good solid run tonight.
Make that 3 drivers. There's Brad Keselowski right with him, who had crash damage early.
Yeah.
He's part of that battle.
Keselowski's really done a nice job of fighting back in that car. It's got a lot of damage down the right side, but nice recovery.
There is Kyle. His brother Kurt is right behind him, but 12 laps down. So there is the dynamic interval, and you see that it is shrinking a little back to 3rd place and kind of comes and goes. Jimmie Johnson kind of holding station there in 2nd. Pretty steady, 1.9 behind. Hey, another car joins this battle. Martin Truex in 20th. hoping for 17th if he can get past these couple.
Well, you can hear him having to really play with the throttle on the exit of these corners as we get well into this run.
Yeah, you get back in the gas, and about the time you think it's going to stick, the back end hops out, and you got to lift up a little bit, get after it again. See how close they get as they exit turn 2 over there. I mean, sometimes you come off that corner and you swear you're going to hit each other. Sometimes you come off that corner and you do hit each other.
Truex took over 19th. But we saw something fly up in the air.
Probably it's
from the 18. Let's
I'm going to guess it's a chunk of rubber, because there's a lot of pieces of rubber that build up around the race car late in the race, particularly. Just a chunk of rubber.
Okay.
That's where that.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It kind of stacks up inside the wheel wells, the crush panels. Right. It'll finally cut loose.
I've seen cars go home from a race and be 20 pounds heavier because of all the rubber and debris that it's picked up during a race.
5 Chevrolets chasing him, but Kyle Busch is the class of the field with 7 laps to go. His Toyota out front. And a tough night for Paul Menard. That's his bright yellow number 98, just in front of the race leader. Menard has had a stellar season so far. Came in here, 11th in the points. Looks like he's going to lose about 4 spots in the standings. And they just could not find the handle on that car. He is 29th.
Yeah, started back in the 32nd position, and now he's going to go 2 laps down to our leader, Kyle Busch, it looks like.
Had a top 10 finish in the nationwide race last night, 7th, I believe.
Now, you know, right here is where Paul Menard can gain a lot of respect from the competitors. This is putting him 2 laps down. Let the 18 go. He's the race leader. Don't race him and jeopardize you and him at this point in the race.
This is 5. 5 to go.
5 to go.
The best Ford in the race is Matt Kenseth in 8th, with Carl Edwards 9th and Allmendinger 11th. The
2.5 second lead.
The top Toyotas are Busch the leader, Logano 7th, and Ambrose 13th.
I think Clint Boyer, he'll be happy to see that checkered flag because he just keeps losing spots. He's fallen into the clutches now of Ryan Newman in that 39 car who cracks the top 5.
4 to go, and Larry, just for giggles, what if a caution came out right now?
Oof.
Based on last night, I think pit road would be a busy place.
It's hard to believe, but you might be right.
Based on the finish of the last 2 races,
yeah,
I think you're right.
We talked about that at the top of the show, and there you see that 90 car again. Looks like he may go a lap down, but he got into the wall. That may be our caution.
There it is.
Not yet.
Yep.
Yes, caution
is out.
Caution's out.
Be careful what you wish for.
We're not giggling now.
No. And neither is Scott Riggs.
No,
he had a great run going, and it is spoiled right there. He was in 25th place.
That's a shame.
Daryl, here's the reason I think you're going to see.
Right front went down.
Let's take a look at this first.
Says he lost the right front.
Oh, yeah, it definitely lost the right front. You see him
just ahead of the leader.
Watch him right here in the middle of this corner. It just takes off up the hill. You saw the brake rotors all glowing red. He was trying to get it wound up.
Not a great sight for Kyle Busch, who was within 7 laps of the checkered flag.
Just right in front of our leader. But Daryl, this is what I'm thinking. You know, your way of thinking, my way of thinking, Jeff Hammond, no way we're coming to pit road. But the problem is double file restarts and possibly 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. That's what throws the kink in it.
Well, here they come.
Still think it's a bad call.
3 weeks in a row?
No,
Krista.
I just couldn't do it.
They mentioned Bristol. They mentioned Martinsville. Everyone came late there to win the race. They'll do it again. They said 4 tires is the call for Jimmie Johnson. They're putting on 4. Matt.
Center of the screen, Jeff Gordon's call from Steve Letarte. Right side tires only. Right side tires only for the 24, Dick.
Kyle Busch is in. He really did not want to see that caution, as you might well imagine. But they're going to put 4 tires on the car and try to make a run for the end. Likely green-white checkered coming up.
We
definitely had a lot of guys go with 2 tires. We just got the word that Steve Letarte, the 24 car. Also, I saw Mark Martin and that 5 group, Alan Gustafson, they go with 2 tires. You see them right there. It looks like the top 7 basically went with 2 tires.
Buddy, oh my gosh. If he can pull this off, if 4 tires will win you this race, I'm telling you, just because it worked at Martinsville doesn't mean it's going to work at Pocono or at Phoenix. That's incredible.
And we had no one, based on the score monitor, that stayed out. Everyone came to pit road for either 2 or 4 tires.
So you saw Steve Letarte. They took track position over 4 tires. And we'll see how that plays out, because the last 2 races it hasn't played out so well.
Well, here's one thing I think we may be looking at is a couple of green-white checkers.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't see how this is not going to play. I just don't see how this is going to work.
I am surprised with 25 cars on the lead lap that some at the back just didn't stay out.
Well, that's the big thing there. That seemed like monkey see, monkey do that time.
Now, one of Jeff Hammond's keys, and you spoke about it in the pre-race, beware of the restarts. With those cars with only fresh right side tires, this is where you can get in trouble.
Yeah, because your tires build up. You saw that big chunk of rubber fly off on the 18? That's what builds up on your tires when you're riding around here, and it's hard to get it off. 1 to go.
Now we will have a bunch of wave rounds. Right now they're posting 27 cars on the lead lap, with 3 of those behind the pace car in front of the leader, Jeff Burton, Regan Smith, Bobby Labonte. There is no free pass because we have less than 10 laps to go.
And just to clear up a little something that happened at Martinsville on these green-white checkers, if the leader goes by the start-finish line and takes the white flag, then the race is official should we get a caution in that lap.
Once the leader gets the white flag under green, the next flag ends the race. Yellow or checker.
We got a whole fleet of waiver rounds. They're going to take advantage of this.
In addition to the 3 I mentioned, there were a number of lap down cars that chose to take the waiver round.
Let me see if I get this right. The 24 is on the front row with the 39. Where's Kens's?
Right behind the 24.
Gosh. Is it looking a little like last week?
And there's Mark Martin. Where did he and Dale Jr.?
All of them took 2 right side tires only.
Look at that.
And Allmendinger, our pole sitter. So here's our first attempt at overdrive. We're 3 laps to go. 2 when they come to the line.
Got to make sure those left side tires are good and cleaned off.
Pace car
off.
dives in. Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, Earnhardt, Allmendinger, Kyle Busch. Who's going to win it? Green flag.
Like all these people that were standing up down there.
Boy, Jimmie Johnson taking it 3 wide down into turn 1.
He's got to, Larry. He's got to go.
Allmendinger has to give. Montoya shoves it off the corner.
But Ryan Newman in the 39 car, he gets the lead off turn 2. White flag when they get back around.
That's all they got to do is take this white flag. If they can make it through this turn, get to the line.
3 wide in turn 3, 1 car way up high. They're gonna make it, and the leader at the white flag is Newman.
White flag, nice and smooth.
Hello, Newman.
3 wide deep in the pack. Next flag. That's the race.
Gordon got a pretty decent run getting into turn 1. Didn't get off turn 2 quite as good. Half a lap to go.
Clear by 3. Nice and smooth at 3.
Ryan Newman looking for his first checkered flag since the 2008 Daytona 500. Jeff Gordon coming. Gordon mounts a charge, looks to the inside, slides up off the corner. Hello, Newman!
It's Newman at the line.
Yes, sir, baby!
All right.
And you know what? In over 60 years of NASCAR racing, the number 39 has never been to victory lane. This will be a first tonight.
You know who drove 39 back in the day? Friday Hassler.
How about that? Kyle Busch, who was leading when the caution came out for Scott Riggs, will finish.
Oh man,
8th.
I told you that plane ride was going to take a while.
It's Newman, Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, Mark Martin, Juan Pablo Montoya, A 5-car sweep for Chevrolet. Then the Fords of Kenseth and Edwards. Kyle Busch is 8th, Clint Bowyer 9th, and Joey Logano 10th.
And the man that capitalized on a caution last night was his enemy tonight, Kyle Busch at 18.
Ryan Newman burning down the house in Phoenix. Here's that final restart. Jeff Gordon has the preferred line. Newman just packs it in to turn 1.
And it stuck. That was the key right there. Clearing that 24 car, late exit of turn 2.
You can't say that there was a right side or wrong side of that, but when you're going for the win, down on the bottom might have been good with that car on the outside of you to catch you.
Promotional considerations provided by
Ryan Newman was 9th when the track transitioned to darkness. He was 5th at the final caution flag. He beats Jeff Gordon on the restart, and now he stands in victory lane with Steve Burns.
Like it is one messy, happy victory lane here for Ryan Newman. Ryan, when this race started, you talked about the car being on top of the track, that it was tight. Did you think you had a shot to win this race?
Well, I thought we had a good car in practice, but I got to thank Tornadoes for coming on board and helping us out with what Tony Stewart and everybody at Stewart Haas Racing giving me an opportunity with. And got to thank the fans. I got to thank Sprint, Chevrolet, and Coca-Cola. The U.S. Army, man, we've been working so hard for those guys to get in victory lane. And, you know, everybody, Haas Automation, you know, just Kraft, everybody that helps us out, Gillette. It's been a long time coming for me to get to victory lane. I'm missing my mom and dad right now. They're back home taking care of my grandfather, but man, I couldn't believe it. I saw the white flag. I'm like, I ain't got that far to go.
Yeah, talk about that final shootout, Ryan.
Well, every restart I've been on the inside, I couldn't get going. I'm not sure if Jeff just didn't get going there or what, but I held my line and got a good shot off of turn 2, and it was all we needed. I mean, track position was real important. I think the 2 tires were a good call. Because the track cooled off, there was a little bit more grip with 2 tires. 2 tires earlier in the day weren't good enough, but Tony Gibson, everybody did a great job. We've come so far as a team to get to this point. Obviously, is a great thing.
Saw Tony Stewart congratulate you just now. What did he say?
He's so proud of me. Told me he loved me, and I told him I loved him back. Because I mean, it's his name. I'm representing him, and a lot of people behind us. Everybody at Stewart Haas, thank them for their help, and you know, I just so gracious to be here right now. It's the most emotional victory I've ever had in my entire career, just because it's been so long, and I'm glad to do it here. Phoenix is a place that you know, it's my first Cup start here. Won 4 poles, and now I finally got my first win.
Congratulations, Ryan. Let's go back to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. Juan Montoya, Jimmie Johnson, and Kyle Busch each led more than 100 laps. Neither of them won. Jeff Gordon, for the 2nd race in a row, sees victory slip right through his fingers in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, well, I think people were fooled again by this. What happened at Martinsville? Took 4 tires, won the race. 18 car took 4 tires. Bad call. Everybody else took 2. I mean, where'd he end up? 6th, 7th, 8th, back there.
But we've seen that 3 races in a row. We saw it in the Nationwide Series race last night, and I just think that these double file restarts and the possibility of 3 green-white checkered is totally changed the thinking structure, because it just seems like we always get that late race caution no matter what size of racetrack we're on.
I love what Ryan Newman said. I saw the white flag and said, man, I ain't got that 4 to go. That's pretty cool. And Stewart told him he loved him. That's big.
Ryan Newman, a surprise winner in Phoenix. Chris?
And his first win since the Daytona 500. He talked about how important the victory was here for Ryan Newman in Phoenix, and he's called it his most emotional victory. An emotional letdown again for Jeff Gordon, who wound up 2nd. And let's check in with Matt, who is with Jeff.
And a stellar team effort by the 24 team tonight. A great call by Steve Letarte. Got you the track position. Walk us through that restart, Jeff.
I just spun the tires. You know, just went to go, and as soon as I got down to the floor, spun the tires, and it was over at that point. You know, Ryan really gained on me getting into 1, and you know, I could kind of get to his quarter, but he started running to the wall. I knew that wasn't going to work, so I thought maybe I had a shot at him, you know, through 3 and 4, and my car was really pretty good, but you know, that restart just killed us. But I mean, in a way, it killed us. In another way, it was great. You know, another battle for the win. Steve Letar's making some great calls, getting us in position to win these races. Our pit crew, you know, we had some rough ones, but man, the last 2 were just awesome and put us in position to win. So I'm real happy about that, and hopefully if we keep doing that, we will get us a couple wins here.
2 straight races, strong runs by the 24 team.
Well, you talked about getting back into the race. I mean, it's amazing. Kyle Busch had the race won, and you heard Larry, Darrell, and Mike talk about the strategy there. Are people overthinking this now?
I think we don't have enough information even to this date. When you get in these situations from time to time, the multiple green-white checkers, you're trying to guess what this is going to be. We went longer tonight than we've ever done at Phoenix. So I think there are a lot of variables coming in here. And again, you're playing almost like you're second-guessing yourself.
But you're planning on something happening that you don't know. It's not supposed to happen.
And that's not supposed to happen. So you don't really know sometimes if you're making the right call, the wrong call. I think after this weekend, there'll be a lot of engineers, a lot of crew chiefs, a lot of owners and drivers sitting down and saying, guys, we got to do a better job of making the right call, because there's been some times that these have slipped through some guys' fingers. I mean, right now, you know, Jeff Gordon's feeling pretty good about where he's at, because he is battling for wins. Right call right there. I mean, you take a look at Jimmie Johnson still leading the points, Chris, and Matt Kenseth now moved up to second. So a lot of teams doing the right thing, but there's a lot of them still sitting there saying, I'll let this one slip right through my fingers, especially Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he's 12th in points. He could have been as high as, what, 7th or 8th. He was ready to make a major leap. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., who started 5th, never got any higher, 10th at the current point standings.
Mark Martin right there in 13th. You see Ryan Newman now up to 16th. Paul Menard slips back along with Kurt Busch. But the one other thing right quick is, remember, there was one question during our pre-race that Darrell Walter pointed out. He wasn't real sure if the communication between crew chief Dave Rogers and Kyle Busch was really working. Tonight may have been a further indication there's some work to still be done there.
Well, let's check in with Chris Devona.
Well, before the caution came out, he was running second and running tight. So were you glad to see the caution come out to have a chance? And if so, were 4 tires the right call?
Totally. I was really happy to see that caution. It was an opportunity for us to make our stuff better and have a shot at the win. It's the first time in a long time I made a call for tires, and 4 tires it was, based on Bristol, Martinsville, and then last night it just seemed like the right thing for me. And if we could have had one more caution, we would have been sitting there in the catbird seat. So great night. You know, we're very competitive through the first 2/3 of the race. At the end, we were a little off to the 18. We got a little too tight, but all in all, great night for Lowe's and Paula.
His 8th straight top 5 at Phoenix.
Jimmie Johnson led 113 laps. Same for Kyle Busch. Juan Pablo Montoya led 104. Ryan Newman led only 4 laps, but wound up in victory lane. An impressive win for him, his first win in the last 78 races. Don't forget, next Saturday, Mets, Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers, White Sox, Indians. Note the start time, Major League Baseball on Fox, and we will be next Sunday at 2 Eastern at Texas Motor Speedway, where Jeff Gordon won last year. In fact, that's Jeff Gordon's last victory. We hope you join us at that time. For our entire crew, for Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox. Have a great week, and watch for us next Sunday. Take care.